Boston and Toronto in the playoffs. The fourth time in 12 years this has happened. All three of the previous series in recent history have been won by the Bruins in Game 7. Well, the Leafs are hoping that this time around it is different because of the recent history between them. A lot has changed for both sides. The Leafs being the underdog in each one of them against the rugged and more experienced Bruins. It may be the same movie over and over. At least it was the narrative that many have been saying on social media before this matchup was official. In reality, they still have some of the old characteristics, but they have changed significantly in the last time that they met 5 years ago. Brad Marchand is the one constant for the Bruins. He is with a seasoned Stanley Cup winning leader. That is Marchand, a borderline generational goal-scoring talent in David Pastrnak, and a workhorse number one blue liner in Charlie McAvoy. It's no longer Tuukka Rask, but you still have Jeremy Swayman around if you're part of the Boston Bruins organization, but they've been found on the elite goaltending tandem of Swayman and Linus Ullmark. Still a feisty group of stingy warriors, ranked among the most penalized teams in the league. No Patrice Bergeron, no Zdeno Chara, no David Krejci, no problem. They have 8 points remaining from the group that eliminated the Leafs in round 1 of the playoffs and made to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in 2019. They're no longer an elite defensive team, but they're still a solid defensive team. And the Leafs, on the other side, they have a lot of the same traits they did during Kyle Dubas' tenure as a general manager. Typically, they win by blowing teams off the scoreboard, with a league-leading goal total from Auston Matthews, who had 69 goals on the season. The highest that we've seen since Teemu Selanne and Alexander Mogilny in 1993. He was one away from becoming the first player to reach 70 goals since 93. They struggled to crack the lineup at times early on. Ryan Reeves has found his place as an intimidator. And a heavy defensive core, which added Simon Benoit, Ilya Lyubushkin, and Joe Edmondson, was added to the fray by Tree Living. Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi add to the forward depth on this forward core. They rank second in the league in hits per game, 9th in penalty minutes per game. And the personality shift did come at a cost. After they played lockdown defense in the last few seasons, this is a leakier unit with a suspect penalty kill. The question is, are these the tougher, sloppier Leafs built to win the playoffs, or will they flame out? There's only one question to answer. That's here, right now, on the Stanley Cup playoffs. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spaces and Twitch. Whichever side you're watching onto this, I am Alec Nava. It's the first time I'm actually doing a dual cast between Spaces and Twitch. For those who have been listening for a long time here on Spaces, onto my cast, welcome back on board. And welcome everyone to those who are joining in on Twitch. I'll be uploading this to YouTube live later on. But we look at the head-to-head. The Bruins, they swept the Leafs in the season series, but it wasn't really a parade of beatdowns. It was close games. The Leafs actually controlled the shot attempt at 5-on-5 in 3 of the 4 matchups. The first 2 meetings were 1-goal nail-biters. The final 2 meetings, it was all Boston. And Marchand was a consistent forward on the Toronto side. He caught defenseman Timothy Liljegren with a hit that left him with a high ankle sprain in the first matchup, which sidelined him for more than a month. And Marchand scored the overtime winner in the second matchup. So the X factor, if you take away Milan Lucic, who hasn't played since October and entered the player assistance program, the Bruins have one active player left from their 2011 Stanley Cup team. That's Marchand, who was named captain for this season after Bergeron's retirement. He was present for all of the series victories that the Bruins had over the Leafs. Carried a lead into the third period Game 7 in the 2018 series, and blew a lead in Game 6 of the 2019 clash, up 3-2 in the series. Marchand, more than any other current Bruin, lives in Toronto's nightmares. In 21 games, he has 7 goals and 21 points, including a pair of game winners. And he's a very skilled player at both ends of the ice and a future Hall of Famer. He's also nearly peerless as an agitator, as the most suspended player in NHL history. He's someone who wears his emotions on the sleeve and can turn the emotional tide of a series. So as we look at both sides in a preview of this game, we go to the NHL's free keys. First up, the Bruins had a crucial decision of who is in net. All season long, they've alternated between Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. It's worked. but it's rare for a team to go with a true goalie rotation in the playoffs. But the option still remains on the table for them. And before then, they've not named their starter for Game 1, but now they came to a decision. It will be Jeremy Swayman in net for the Bruins. He's been the better of the two goalies throughout the regular season. Allmark finished the season 22-10-7, 2.57 GAA, .915 save percentage, and 2 shutouts, while Swayman was 25-10-8, a 253, 916, with 3 shutouts in 44 games. So Austin going up against Boston. How is that working out? While Matthews didn't get to 70, he finished with an NHL leading 69 goals. He's one offensive superstar on a team that's full of them. So Toronto, who was second in the league during the regular season, averaging 3.63 goals for per game, they'll be looking for the offense to continue to be humming on all cylinders. If the Leafs get a jump, say by Matthews scoring early, the Bees have a hard time catching up because they can't match their opponent goal for goal. And if William Nylander can't play, which is the case, his status is uncertain, though Matthews becomes even more important for them, which is the case. Third, is that the Bruins can fire it up offensively. Their power play hasn't exactly been so powerful per se as of late, but there are attempts to be made to change exactly that. Marchand and McAvoy were on the second unit, and Kevin Shattenkirk was quarterbacking the first, which was a change that began during a 6-4 win at Pittsburgh against the Penguins on April 13th. Boston finished 14th in the NHL with a 22.2% power play conversion rate this season. They ended up going 3 for 32, scoring as many shorthanded goals as power play goals in that span down the line. But that is strange to see that a Boston team would be going sluggish to close out the year on the power play. 4 questions that they would want to answer. Would it be quality over quantity working again? To put it in lightly, they picked their spots. It seems it's more of an exaggeration than years past. The loss of the centers, which means Bergeron and Krejci. They're not shooting a lot, but they make those shots count. It's backed up by the math. As we look at the shot attempts against per 60, Boston's 81.56, 27th overall, but shot attempts for per 60 are 72.6 at 18th overall. Penalty kill wise, they're 7th at 82.5. Expected goals against per 60, 3.53. But if there's any solace, Boston seems to find a way to hard counter the Leafs. And the Leafs since January have been numerically a bit better than the Bruins. But that was kind of true no matter what series they were in. Whether it be 2013, 2018, or 2019. Toronto's PK has been bad no matter who's in the lineup all season long. The playoffs morph into was the final form of things. The hypothesis of everything the game was, and never will be a means. It would be a means that a power play is not awful. It could be a big X factor towards beating the Leafs. They do need to get to that point. And that means forcing a particular penalty kill to commit to bad decisions early and often. Puck movements need to get to these guys panicking and quickly. And they need to force space to open up. And decisions need to be made from the point that cannot end up going the other way. And now onto the other side for the Leafs. John Tavares may be coming to his time to lead this team by example. So Leafs fans were hearing rumors before with Rick Nash and Steven Stamkos coming by through free agency before Tavares came through. But at that time, the superstar was coming home. However, through time, he has been losing some steps for what people have been saying. Some are saying that they should move into the wing. So others said that they should have re-signed Ryan O'Reilly. He had a down year by standards with only 29 goals, but the underlying numbers were eye-popping. 4th for the league and expected goals behind only Zach Hyman, Austin Matthews, and Sam Reinhart is something to look for. Numbers are not telling the entire story, but this dip in production looks to be a case of bad luck. He's shooting the puck as much, if not more, than previous seasons, but shooting percentage is a career low, which may be a huge positive for the Leafs. At the 4th meeting with the Bruins since 2013, the biggest question seems to be who is facing the most pressure on the Leafs. Whether it's Marner, Matthews, Ilya Samsonov, or Sheldon Keefe. For the first time in a while, it feels like Tavares is facing a lot of pressure and is flying under the radar. The Bruins will start the series with their two best defensemen playing together, presumably to shut down the Matthews line. Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha are good players that fit the style that Jim Montgomery wants to play and should be praised for all the jobs that they've been doing, filling the big holes that were left behind by the retirements of Bergeron and Krejci. As you look towards it, in fact, both of them have scored more points than Bergeron and Krejci did last season. As we do know, Bergeron did so much more than to just put up points. And as with his contributions on the defensive side of the ice. So the puck has not even dropped yet. The Leafs are going to themselves as paranoia disguised as gamesmanship. As what the Leafs Nation has been pointing out. Particularly as it relates to Nylander. Nylander did not participate in Friday's practice. Nor did he join the team for the optional skate on Saturday. He was dressed for the final game of the regular season, which was essentially a meaningless game for him. He got hurt. And Sheldon Keefe refused to be transparent with reporters this past Friday. Shared that he was under orders from Tree Living not to get injury updates for the playoffs. If Nylander is really hurt, the Leafs should have just disclosed it in the first place. The Bruins are not going to change their lineup because he is out, but they will aim fees on Toronto's third line if he misses game 1. Boston's going to start Lindholm and McAvoy together. The idea of deploying their two defensemen against the top line of Tyler Bertuzzi, Austin Matthews, and Max Domi. Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi have scorched opponents through the latter stage of the season, and the Bruins are going to try to erase Matthews' MVP level production on the outset. And that means there's more pressure on Tavares to get things going. And it's also a make or break year for Samsonov. He was on a one-year prove-it deal with the Leafs this year. He had a solid first year with the club last year, sharing the net with Matt Murray and Joseph Woll. And had his shining moments in the playoffs. Those overall numbers looked ugly. He got hurt in the second round against the Florida Panthers. The team-friendly $3.55 million cap hit this year. He had an opportunity to prove he can be a long-term answer net. His surface-level stats will give you all the goosebumps. An .890 save percentage and a .313 GAA, yet he's 23-7-8. You can't blame him solely for all the goals against. He's allowed 4 more goals on 15 separate occasions. He has a 5-4-6 record in those games, but 9 of them came against teams that missed out on the playoffs. Those 2 6-5 overtime losses against Columbus in January put him at the bottom of the barrel, statistically and mentally. He needed the time away from the club to focus, to get his confidence back up, and he did exactly that. He has bumpy moments, especially late in the season, but Samsonov had a .919 save percentage and .262 goals against average of 5-on-5 in his final 21 games after the All-Star break. Contrast that to his first 19 starts, putting him 60 out of 64 goalies for the Leafs 10 games played, where he had an .895 save percentage and a negative .706 goals saved above expectation. So it's solid to say he did get better. It's enough to instill confidence heading into a playoff series against the best goalie duel in the league, but it doesn't seem like much. Look behind the numbers, saw a totally different Samsonov in the second half. He had his confidence up. He's smiling as teammates were rallying around him. All 3 of Toronto's goalies struggled at points this year, but Samsonov's was more front and center throughout the season. So now we get to our starting lineups here. We start with the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs. At the top line is Tyler Bertuzzi, Austin Matthews, Max Domi. Second line of Matt Nyes, John Tavares, and Mitch Marner. Third line is Nick Robertson, Pontus Holmberg, and Calle Yarncroke. And to round it out, Connor Dewar, David Kempf, and Ryan Reeves. Defensive pairing start Morgan Riley with Ilya Lyubushkin. Second defensive pairing is Simon Benoit and Jake McCabe. And to round out, Joe Edmondson with Timothy Logan. Samsonov gets the start, Joseph Woll is the backup. Now for the Bruins starting lineups. Danton Heinen, Pavel Zacha, and David Pastrnak. At the first line, Brad Marchand, Charlie Coyle, and Jake DeBrusk is the second line. Jacob Lalko, Morgan Geekie, and Trent Frederick. And to round out, Johnny Beecher, Jesper Boquist, and Pat Maroon. Defensive lines, Hampus Lindholm with Charlie McAvoy, Matt Grizzly with Brandon Carlo, and Shattenkirk with Andrew Peak. Swayman is going to be starting in net. Olmark is going to be the backup. And we have a pre-face-off skirmish between Marchand and Domi off the face-off, as we have our officials separating the two of them on the signal. And let's get rocking and rolling. Bruins Maple Leafs Game 1 at Beantown TD Garden. More than 17,800 on their feet. The Bronx gets into it with Matthews. There was a loose stick to begin things off in this rivalry match. No call made as there was a loose stick. Might have been a slash. Now it's a foot race for the puck. It's Lundgren winning the foot race against Coyle. We'll have an icing. And no call here as Domi goes over to the bench. So off the opening faceoff as Domi was pushing and shoving with Marchand. And Domi, it was clearly wanting to set the tone in this rivalry. We know these two teams do not like each other. Matthews got into it, and there was a loose stick that was stick lifted onto the ice. Our referees, Gord Dwyer and TJ Luxmore. Lines are James Tobias and Matt McPherson. Mitch Marner in tight. That was turned away by Swayman, and the Bruins clear it out. Chasing after is Lyubushkin. He'll pick it up over at his own end of the ice. Out there with Riley. Lyubushkin goes to the right. Deflected inside by Marner. Nyes gets into it. Feed in front for Nyes. And a stop made by Swayman. First one of this game. McAvoy slowed down. That was Marner trying to take it away. And Zacha fanned on this. Leafs almost turned it over. Race 2. The puck is picked up by Pasta. It'll be backwards over to McAvoy. And up forward this goes for Lindholm. Little move around by Heinen. Now up front comes McAvoy. Drop pass. Here's Pasternak out in front. He misses it entirely. Pasternak gets into it. And now here comes Holmberg. Holmberg down the other side through the far side. Set him in front. Fan the one-timer. This now goes to Benoit. Down low. This goes over to Robertson. Backhand pass back to the point. Long shot is turned away by Swayman. Holmberg picks it up. Has Yarncroke on his other side. He feeds over a long feed pass. Out in front. Rebound. And both shots were stopped by Swayman. They're both chasing after this puck. And I do have some technical difficulties in the meantime. But what a stop by Swayman as we're back into action. So it was a brief technical difficulty. I apologize for this. Sometimes internet may be slow. And the rebound saved by Swayman. He's keeping his cool. Almost was sent out. Toronto held this inside. Samsonov gets it backwards. Spun around the backhand as Geeky missed his man entirely on the attempted hit. First to this puck on the dump and across the red line was Lindholm. Taken out to center ice. Boquist was slowed down by Lundgren, and Lundgren sweeps it over to the opposite side and out. Leafs get this out to center. Moving it up is Dewar. Dewar was shoved away by Peake. It was acquired at the deadline from Columbus by Boston. Maroon there, the X-Bolt. Now here's a 2-on-1. Here's Boquist with Beecher. Boquist for Beecher. He scores! Johnny Beecher, welcome to the playoffs! That's his first career playoff goal! At the 2:26 mark of the first period, the fourth line connecting is Boquist to Beecher on the 2-on-1. Everything went roll around for the near corner of the Boston zone. And that forces a 2-on-1. Good defensive zone on pressure by the Bruins on the Leafs. Boquist connecting with Beecher on the other side. Beecher going far side. Ringing it off through the near side of the post and in. Good stops by Swayman on both the blue liner. McCabe and Nick Robertson right in tight to stop two straight. Tyler Bertuzzi was with the Bruins last year when they made it all the way to that record-setting regular season. Offside against Bertuzzi as he was caught way off. 17-13 remaining in the first period, but what a moment it is for this young kid, Beecher, who is one of the top prospects for the Boston Bruins, making his playoff debut tonight in Boston. The whole crowd sent into a frenzy, everyone liking that. That's good awareness by Boquist to find the open man, and Beecher made no mistake going far side, finding the open hole at that area. 23 years old, the rookie out of Elmira, New York, as the Bruins don't ice it. This was across the red line on the dump in. Benoit moved it across, and this goes out to center. Boston gets it up forward. Tap pass backwards over to Coyle. Charlie Coyle spins around for the right circle and out to the right point. From the half wall, he fires when this went off the stick of McCabe. Both teams rush over to the puck. It's the Leafs. Bertuzzi clears this one out, the ex-Bruin, ex-Red Wing. Max Domi back with this. He drops this back over to Benoit. Benoit goes over to the opposite side for Edmondson as the third pairing gets out. His partner, Liljegren, is out there. He receives the feed. Liljegren moves it forward over to Marner and back across this one off the skate of Zacha and poked over to Pasternak as Pasternak does a cross-corner feed over to the far side. Chop backwards over to Marner as the Leafs pick this one up, look to skate this one out, and they do. On center ice, Tavares goes over to the right side. Legal entry, Edmondson rushing there. Behind the net, Bruins spin this one around. Pasternak gets bumped, but he does get this one out. Backhanded by Liljegren, intended for Tavares. Nyes gets this one forward. Swayman thought about getting this one behind with some patience, but he sees that there were some Leafs getting to him and backtracks. Here's Geeky at the near side. Gets closed off by O'Reilly, pardon me. Lyubushkin now behind the net. Intercepted by Lauko. Stick was broken. Over the far side. Now behind the net. The Bruins tried to get to there. Peak jumps onto this. Tight shot. Oh my goodness. Samsonov had to make a quick reactionary save to that as Peak fired through the tight window. And a post-whistle scuffle. Trent Frederick, Ilya Lyubushkin, some words spoken. Not much out of it. Momentum is an important part of hockey, and the Bruins generating the defensive momentum towards their side. And the Leafs, they looked like they were going to have the offensive momentum towards their way. It looks to be that way considering that they have the 4 shots, the first 4 of this game. But Charlie Coyle is setting new career highs. 25 goals, 60 points, averaging 1803 of time on ice. He is the de facto top centerman. But he could be that center. They're going number one center by committee between Coyle and Zacha. It's mostly to play the wingers that's getting into this point. Beecher and Boqvist were out there on the ice. It was Beecher taking the face up of, it looked to be that way just before he was tossed out. It was Boqvist taking the draw in his place. Boqvist spins it forward for the far side. It's on behind the net, behind Samsonov, and now picked up. That was Benoit, bounced forward by Boston. Jake McCabe with this puck. Backhand this one out over to the far side near the Bruins bench. Boston sends it forward. This could be a chance, or I thought it could be, just before the Leafs stick this one aside. McCabe over to the far corner. Got it out over to Kampf. Kampf is tied up. Puck kept alive by Marchand, but it bounced over directly over to Dewar. And he just gets it out right by Marchand, and Marchand taps it further backwards over to Shattenkirk. Over the near side, this is Coyle, who gets bumped by Benoit. Marchand trying to corral this. It's stuck with Coyle for a moment. He gets it backwards over to Shattenkirk, and Shattenkirk will fire this around through the far boards. And rushing to their first was Benoit, and there's a penalty coming. It's against Simon Benoit. He got a stick right into Coyle, and the first power play will go to Boston. So Benoit got a stick up onto Coyle, and he gets the penalty. This is a high sticking penalty against, or they're going to call hooking. I thought it was high sticking. And either way will be a 2-minute minor. But either way, he got his stick right up onto Coyle at the near side, setting the Bruins up on the man advantage. They are 2 of their last 23 heading into the man advantage in their first playoff game in 2024. And many Bostonians want to avoid talking about what happened last year. And I remember being on the call for Game 7 between the Panthers and the Bruins. The Panthers pulled off a historical upset, perhaps the upset of the century. Here's Heinen, long slapper, and a rebound in front. No shot from Pasternak. Pasternak fakes the one-timer from Shattenkirk. Left wing circle, he shoots it, and Samsonov decides to keep it and force another face-off to his right. 14:22 remaining in the first period. There's a block shot in front initially. It was Edmondson on the assignment, one-on-one with Pasternak. He stood with his man. Good job staying with him. Toronto's PK is tied for 22nd. Boston's power play ranks 14th. Maroon taps it backwards over to Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk lets it go. It was blocked in front. McCabe gets stick lifted. He stays with this puck. Drop pass over to the opposite side. And a slap clear by Edmondson. He gets it all the way down. Swayman will slow it down. Back is Shattenkirk. Jim Montgomery tweaked up his power play units ahead of the playoffs, putting Shattenkirk on the first power play unit and McAvoy on the second unit. Pasternak across. Zacha moves around. At the left point, the Bruins get this one further. Leafs try to clear this one down. Heinen can't put it further. And Pastrnak has one power play goal in his last 34 games. That power play goal coming 5-on-3 against the Leafs. He wants to end that skid and get on the board on the man advantage. This is bread and butter, especially for the left circle. And one of the Bruins got shoved away. Bruins fans wanting a call. We play onwards. Moved around as the Leafs do get this one out. As Calle Jarnkrok getting us down for the distance. Restarting is McAvoy. As I mentioned earlier, he's on the second unit. He is out there with the rest of that unit. Coyle. Moving this one over to the right side is Geekie. Along the half wall near side. McAvoy backwards. Now opposite point. It's a long shot from Marchand. That's blocked in front. McAvoy keeps it alive. Geekie at the right point. Back over to McAvoy. Now on to Marchand. Marchand in front. Coyle rang it off the post. That close to being 2-0. 15 seconds on the power play. McAvoy can't find Marchand. It's on backwards. Bruins get reset. They'll just let this one go and get one last chance upwards if they have enough time for this power play. They will not. And the Leafs kill off the man advantage of the Bruins. Get back to 5-on-5 as Benoit's back out there. Here's David Kampf onto the left side. Riley moves it around through the Boston zone. Still with this puck after the Bruins blocked his first chance. Matthews falls down. Helping him out is Domi. Domi at the right circle. Moves it back out to the point. Long shot was blocked away. Bertuzzi trying to rush to it. Bruins looking to get this one out. A low bump and run. Boston gets to it. Here's Carlo moving to Carlo. Howitzer kicked out by Samsonov. Bertuzzi picks it up at his own zone. 8 minutes deep into the first. Moved around back over to Bertuzzi. Taps it backwards. Boston gets to it. And gets the puck around. Here is Simon Benoit moving it forwards over to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi just sends this one in. He gets slowed down on the way to dumping this one in. So that won't go for him. The Leafs double team Pastrnak and get the puck away from him. Jake McCabe is back deep at his own zone. Just one shot separates the shot advantage between these two. This goes all the way down to Boston's end. And Swayman decides not to pass it out to his teammate. Covers this one up as several Leafs were closing in on him. 11:28 left in the first period. We'll be coming back to you at this point. We'll go to break. So it turns out we're not going to the break here. Well, there must have been something that shut off this break. So the Leafs were second in the NHL in hits, just right behind the Florida Panthers. The Bruins were third. These are the two hardest hitting teams in the league. So 12-11 the hits in favor of the Bruins. The puck goes out of play. But now we are going to break this time. I thought we were going to break initially, but now it is official. We'll be back in just a moment here, everyone. It's 1-0 Bruins with 11:22 left in the first. So to recap, we had Max Domi and Brad Marchand. Max Domi and Brad Marchand off the opening faceoff, going one-on-one with one another. There's some scuffles. Johnny Beecher with his first career playoff goal. That puts the Bruins on the board first. So far it is 1-0. We've had a penalty by Toronto. Simon Benoit for hooking, 2 minutes. And we have our 12th hit by Toronto, so we're even in the hit department. I just wish that we have a hit counter on both broadcasts, ESPN and TNT/TBS, for how many hits they have in the playoffs. As the Bruins, they go up to their own zone. Toronto keeps it in. Can't find anyone in front, as in the way there, that was Brandon Carlo who gets bumped. Physicality ramping up. Matthews, one-timer at the slot. That was blocked in front. Went off several players. 3-on-2 developing for the Bruins. They just shoot this one into the far corner. Edmondson arrives there first. And this goes all the way out. Matt Griswick sends it around over to McAvoy. McAvoy patrolling over his own zone. Bertuzzi thought about sticking this one away, but backtracks and goes off for a change. Griswick moved forward for Frederick, and now here's Geekie around the near corner. Tight shot was turned away. Robertson can't get this to his teammate. And Boston gets it in to keep it in. Battling for it at the half wall far side. Bruins emerge of it, but can't hold his own. Chasing after it was Robertson and Yarncroke, but the Bruins secure it. They send this one in all around for the near corner. Labushkin arrives first. Second still with the Leafs. Acquired by the Leafs, frankly, in trade deadlines. Held in by Geekie. Here's Frederick with it at the near corner. Shoved away several times. Geekie there as well. Riley was in on him. And around this goes Lawco, holds this one through. Bumped at the far corner. Moved out in front. It's bouncing off several bodies. Holmberg ridden towards the wall along the far corner by one of the Bruins. Still the physicality continues. Good hold by Johnny Beecher. Warriors scores second of his playoffs here. Off the bench, he fights it over at the left point. That was blocked in front by Robertson. And here's the hard-working Beecher stripping it away from him. He holds this one in, but arriving there first. Oh, my! David Pastrnak. Or that was Pat Maroon, pardon me. I thought it was Pastrnak, but I saw 6 eventually right in front. Maroon with the hit of the playoffs thus far. And that was right in on Morgan Riley. Ouch, that's gotta sting. 9:03 left in the first period. Bruins hold a 1-0 lead. And now here is Pastrnak for real this time. This went off a skate of Benoit. Bouncing around as Heinen tried to hold. Several whacks at it. Including from one of the Leafs, that was Tavares, the captain. Nyes can't get to it. He picks it up, just saves it. And control back it up forward over to Marner. Marner flips it over. He gets ridden on a spin around by Heinen. Jumping onto it is Lindholm. Puck is loose over the far corner. McAvoy gets it. Lundgren pokes it away. Here's Marner holding at the right point. He feeds it over to the right side. And losing the balance there was Connor Dewar. It's kicked out all the way to the Leaf zone, where it's picked up once again by Liljegren. Liljegren moves it over to his partner Edmondson at the near side. Intercepted by Boquist, but dragged on forward by Kampf. Taken out by Boston. Liljegren. Oh, up and over goes Liljegren. He gets taken over through the Bruins bench onto a horse ride. Goodness. The heavy hitting continues. 8 minutes to go, and there's another big Bruins hit. Matthews, quick shot. That was driven wide, and then around this goes. Moved around onto the near boards as the crashing and banging continues. Matthews gets taken down. That was Boquist in on him. Bertuzzi jumps to it, only to get shoved away by Shattenkirk as Matthews tries to wrap it around. Swayman slows this one down with 7:39 to go in the period. Wow. We're seeing all sorts of action here in Beantown. All the big hits, 2 of them from Maroon. One on Riley, one on Liljegren. We'll be right back in just a moment. Patrick Maroon with 2 big hits in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Notice one of those physical presences no matter where he goes. St. Louis, New Jersey, Edmonton, Anaheim, Boston, Minnesota, Tampa Bay. He's been a big fourth line or for bottom 6 presence no matter where he's at, and providing teams with big moments and moments to remember around. Austin Matthews, Charlie Coyle gets into him as the Leafs have control at their own zone. Jumping to it was Bertuzzi, sending this backwards over to Benoit. Benoit around. Benoit, he gets it over, and now the Bruins pick it up on a turnover. Samsonov will keep this in off this shot from Lindholm. He'll keep it and hold on for a face-off with 7:11 left to go. So far, it's 1-0 Bruins, and Maroon, he'll soon be 36 years old. So happy early birthday to him. His birthday's in 3 days. Marchand won a Stanley Cup with the Bruins in 2011. His usual line mate Patrice Bergeron was one of the last remaining members of that 2011 Stanley Cup team. Milan Lucic is the only other one on the Bruins roster, but he is on the NHL Player Assistance Program. Battle for at the far corner. Both teams still ferocious going at this one. Tavares pokes it forward. Marner gets driven down, but helping him was Liljegren to get this one out. Just held in by the Bruins, but it's Edmondson driving this backwards over to Liljegren, and the Leafs do get this one out. Edmondson for the far side, or near side actually. And this goes up into the netting, and the man was nice. The rookie out of the University of Minnesota. He went to a national championship game with them. That was last season. In that potent first line of him, Logan Cooley, and Jimmy Snuggerud. Jersey numbers there were 89, 92, and Snuggerud 81. Snuggerud is the only one remaining of that top line to be with the University of Minnesota. Took them to a regional final appearance where they lost eventually to the Boston University Terriers. BU then lost to the Denver Pioneers, who won the national championship this year off a 35-save shutout from Matt Davis. Denver limited Boston College to just 11 shots in the first 2 periods before Davis had to come up with key save after key save in the third. Riley keeps it in over the far side on a cross-corner fire-in. The Bruins get this one down. Riley's there, sweeping this one away just as Geeky blew a tire. Riley has it one more time. Move forward. This goes over to the near side. It's Robertson. Robertson gets it over to the opposite corner. Picked up now behind the net. Rushing to this is Holmberg. Spun around. 6 minutes to go. Chasing after this puck. Yarncroke shoved his man aside. James Van Reen strikes a healthy scratch. In comes Kevin Shattenkirk. 1-on-1. Shattenkirk instead waits for help. Spins the one around behind the net. Marchand bumped McCabe. Strikes him down. Riley now has it. Moved up through the ice. Down for the distance. It's icing as this touched nobody across the red line. 5:38 remaining in this first period. We'll have a face-off at the Toronto zone. So the all-time postseason matchup, Toronto has 40 playoff game wins against Boston. The Bruins have 42. Each team has 8 series wins. The Leafs at the edge in goals, 226 to 205. But the last time the Leafs beat the Bruins in a playoff series was 1959. That's 65 years since they last beat them. Coyle and Matthews. Coyle wins it. Now here's McAvoy walking the top of the right circle. With the high swat, this goes off the bar. And out of play. 5:33 remains in this first period. That's not going to count as a shot on goal, but it does take us to the break. Almost was 2-0. Off the crossbar and out of play goes McAvoy. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Stanley Cup playoffs. 5:19, at the very least, it says. Well, 14:27 has transpired here in this first period. So I'm at 5:33. So a little mistake on my part. I have the ESPN box score on my side by side, and a game cast on the other. So we're back underway here. Off this face-off, Benoit moves this one in. He gets shoved towards the wall. Swayman can't play this one out as Bertuzzi causes his man to lose balance. The man that he was facing, the Bruins, get this one down. Foot race to the puck. Icing is waved off. Benoit kicks it out over to behind the net. McCabe was in on it. Coyle tries to feed out in front. The Leafs got there early. 5:05 to go in the first. Out to the point. Here's Brad Marchand. Long shot. Gobbled up by Samsonov. He'll slow things down with 5:02 left in the period and force a face-off. Physicality coming here a lot here. Ryan Reeves going after his man, Patrick Maroon. That was the wrong decision. That sparked the 2-on-1. And Boquist finding Johnny Beecher on the other way. This fourth line is back on the ice. Taking a draw is Beecher opposite David Kampf. It's another false start against Beecher. In comes Boquist. On a 1-year deal, signed from New Jersey. He set up the goal. He won the face-off here. Backhand this one to keep this one in. Just as one of the Bruins to slow down. That was Boquist who keeps it down low. Tried to backhand it through. He still keeps it to himself, away from everyone on the Leafs. Tried to feed over to the left point. That's Jarnkrug picked it up. And down for the line is Kampf. The long wrister stopped by Swayman. Andrew Peeke going out of Connor Dewar. Then everyone goes at one another. Pushing and shoving continues. And down goes Andrew Peeke inside the net. We'll see how the officials can handle this one. They won a nice and clean game, but this has been everything but a nice and clean game. Remember, this is a rivalry. They hate each other. 4:36 remains here, first period. So the last time the Leafs had a scoring chance was before the goal. So a quick chance as Dewar tried to clean it up, driving hard to the net. And he and Peeke go at each other. The thing is, keep your cool. There's no penalty in the way there. And that's honestly the right call, considering this is playoff hockey. 7-6 advantage in shots are the Leafs. 1-0 is the lead for the Bruins. Game 1 in this best-of-7 series, in the 17th meeting between these original 6 rivals. Clean face-off win by Matthews. Morgan Riley holding on to it, and we have a penalty here, it seems. Tyler Bertuzzi had to be separated from Brandon Carlo just after the draw. And not even minutes or 30 seconds after the face-off, Bertuzzi is going to head to the box. High sticking is going to be the call. Now, it feels like a phantom call initially, but the high stick was, well, before, and it was a high stick on Lindholm, caught Lindholm up high on the face. That got him onto the box. He'll sit for 2 minutes unless the Bruins score a goal. It was a retaliation. Now, Boston gets their second power play. There are 2 for the last 24, dating back to the regular season. Face-off win by Toronto, and they get this down all the way to the ice. Heinen was just held in by Heinen, and a one-time by Pasternak was stopped by Swayman and hit the netting. Or blocked by Jake McCabe, rather. It hit the netting, it seems. I thought it was stopped by Ilya Samsonov, but going on to, with 4:23 remaining in this first period. Get Ian on board here in just a moment on the Spaces side. Kevin Shattenkirk holds it in. Left circle is Pasternak. They're shaking up the first unit as they put Shattenkirk on the first unit. Here's Pasternak. Fires away! That's set wide. Held in by Heinen. Pat Maroon is out there on this first unit with Heinen. The Leafs shoot this right on Swayman. And that was on the mark. So that counts as a shot on goal. And around this goes 3:53 remaining in the first period. The Bruins drive this one through center. On for Pasternak right across. That went off the stick of Jake DeBrusk. He holds it in here. Shattenkirk back over to DeBrusk. DeBrusk slowed down, but gets it over to Shattenkirk at the left point. Now DeBrusk one more time. Heinen, long shot off the pads of Samsonov. Held in by Pasternak. Back over to Shattenkirk. He is walking the point. Over to Pasternak. One-timer. Zacha off the bar. And again, here's Shattenkirk who drops it back over to Heinen. And across for Pasternak. Pasternak fires it a long distance. Samsonov turns it away. Held in by DeBrusk. Backwards to Zacha. And that missed the mark. That's 3 times that the Bruins have hit the post on shots. 38 seconds left on the power play. That pass was off the mark. Toronto gets a hold of it, and they clear this one down the ice. 30 left on the man advantage. Charlie McAvoy. He's looking for options. He finds one right behind him. Coyle leads the way. Right back the other way is Geeky, and around goes Coyle on this pass. Marchand sends it backwards, but this land onto the stick of Yarncroke and down the distance. 10 seconds on the man bench. It's McAvoy picking this up from his own zone. 2:37 on the period. 5 on the power play. Coyle leads the way. Right side is Geeky. Geeky going back. The pass blocked off intended for Coyle. Power play over. Liljegren in the way. Marchand picked it up. He slowed down. We play on. Bertuzzi leads the way over to Matthews, and Matthews waits. Intercepted. The Bruins get back with this. It's backhanded onto the Toronto zone. On the other way, this is a long pass that is off the mark and an icing against the Leafs. Tyler Bertuzzi tried to win the foot race. That did not go anywhere. And at one point, the Bruins had just 4 guys on the power play. That's another, I don't know what to say of it, but 4 guys on the ice on a power play, that's not how you operate a man of edge. Here's Carlo to the net, trying to bag this in. Samsonov closing the door. All sorts of mayhem all over the ice, and he holds his own with 2:01 remaining. He'll slow things down as this stick whacking, stick tapping all over the ice, and Johnny Beecher's a little shaken up. How in the world did Samsonov hold that post? He was getting crowded all and peppered with all sorts of shots. Can't imagine the situation that he is in, but that's gotta hurt no matter what. I don't know if it's Brandon Carlo comes down as Trent Frederick is shoved down by one of the Leafs. Samsonov holding his crease. Nothing was getting by him. His took a bounce off a skate, and Samsonov went down 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 saves, all subsequently by Samsonov, as he was holding on to it. Oh, man. Already 10 shots for the Bruins. Puck is gloved down by Pasternak. He whipped on the shot. Still a battle for this loose puck. It's over the Leafs end. The Leafs pick this up. Here's Tavares moving this one up through the ice. Gets slowed down several times by McAvoy. Marner holding his own. Aaron pass is now picked up by Heinen on this possible 2-on-2. Pasternak's just going to flip this one down over to the far corner. Jake McCabe comes away with this puck in his own zone. Away from Heinen. Pasternak jumping into this and rushing to it is Coyle. Coyle at the near side, moving it down low. Keeping it in his Griswold, gets knocked away over to McCabe, and on the opposite side, this is Benoit. Simon Benoit has 1:16 to go in this first period, and we'll get over to the intermission in just a moment. Giveaway here by Kempf. In comes Lalko. Drop pass over to Geeky, sticked away by Kempf. Little sort of redemption there. Here's Dewar inside in the final minute of the first period. Driven down by Carlo. Andrew Peak towards the wall by Reeves. 56 on the clock. Marchand tapping this one backwards. Andrew Peak is shoved away. Marchand sends it over to the far side to Geeky. Liljegren staying with him. On across to Edmondson, who gets driven to the wall with 43. Dewar bouncing puck by Frederick off of him. On to Kempf at the far corner. Camp shoved towards the wall by Peak. On the opposite corner, big hit! Ryan Reeves was there, right on the distance. Here's Lyubushkin inside, that was sent wide. And this one, a slow shot by Riley, does not make its way over to the net. And all alone, down low is Bertuzzi. Trying to find the open. Matthews gloved down by Swayman. With 17.2 seconds onto the Boston giveaway. Ho! The Leafs kept this one alive and found its way over to Matthews with Bertuzzi on the hold. With just 17.2 seconds to go, with Matthews bouncing this one right on Swayman. Smart shot there by him. The most goals since Mario Lemieux in the 1996 season. He's on the ice for the sequence. He's out there with Marner. He wins the faceoff. Marner holding along for the point. Long shot. Loose out from Matthews. He's turned away by Swayman again. And then everyone comes after one another. Several penalties may be called here. 10.7 remains here in the first period as both officials clean everything up. Coincidental minor is going to be against Charlie McAvoy and Max Domi. Ooh, that was a big punch by McAvoy right to his head by Domi. Ouch. And regardless of whether the penalties are going to be signaled or not, you can't take any shots towards one of the players, if any punches. So it's going to be coincidental roughing penalties against Domi and McAvoy. Domi for instigating, McAvoy for retaliating. So 2 penalties in this sequence. It was Matthews and Beecher on the faceoff. It was Beecher winning it. 5 seconds ago, the Bruins looked to get this one out. Held in by Matthews. One last shot. Out in front. And Swayman gets driven down. Lindholm and Marner got into one another. And a penalty to end off the period. It's going to be Lindholm for cross-checking for driving Marner onto the net. And him bumping right into Swayman. So it's going to be cross-checking. Toronto's going to be on the power play to start off the second period. We're now at the intermission. The first intermission. Bruins lead 1-0. Johnny Beecher from Jesper Boquist and Pat Maroon to start things off. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stanley Cup playoffs. Twitch Spaces on these broadcasts. I'm Alec Nava. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I had to get my audio output capture for this. Well, because it is. I realized that as you were in this, so I had to readjust for my audio output capture. But either way, so Spragalicious, who's playing? It's the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs were in Game 1. The Bruins lead 1-0. Johnny Beecher has the only goal. His first of his career in his rookie year. 23 years old and a native of Elmira, New York. He was just born a month before I was. Well, a month and 8 days, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. April 5th, 2001. It seems that they're showing an advertisement for the next Adult Swim and show Royal Crackers. And it seems that they're showing a Superbird on that. Well, of course, the Superbird, people think about Richard Petty and all those years that he raced in NASCAR. Even his nicknamesake, he portrayed a fictional version of himself over in Cars, if people remembered that. Such an iconic movie.
Oh, who did he portray?
Strip Weathers, the King.
Oh.
Yeah, Weathers is basically a fictionalized version of Richard Petty in the Cars universe. With 7 Piston Cup championships, Petty himself won 7 NASCAR championships.
Wow.
All right, so we're on to the intermission. That means, well, the NHL and TNT studio is on their rinkside studio. Well, their virtual rinkside studio at the suits and ties. Well, there's Liam, there's AC, there's Biz, there's Hank. I mean, initially it was Rick Tocchet and Wayne Gretzky on it. Well, those were the days back when Tocchet was with the studio, and now he's the coach of the Canucks. I'm sure the NHL and TNT crew keeps in good touch with Rick Tocchet.
Oh yeah, I mean they're probably going to interview him and ask him, "Hey Rick, you miss being here with us?" Said,
I'm pretty. That may be a Biz question.
Yeah. By the way, did you see the bet that Liam and Biz made with each other before the Islanders and the Hurricanes game?
I didn't catch that. What was it, Ian?
Okay, so if I'm remembering this correctly, Biz believes that the Leafs are going to go further than the Islanders, and Liam believes the opposite. So what's going to happen is if the Leafs make it further than the Islanders, Liam will have to get a Toronto Maple Leafs tattoo and wear something called a Canadian tuxedo. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but it's a punishment, so it's probably humiliating. And Biz, well, for Biz, if the Islanders make it further than the Toronto Maple Leafs, then Biz will have to get a New York Islanders tattoo and get a pie to the face. And if neither team makes it out of the first round, the fans get to decide.
Well, if we're looking at that, well, I mean, I feel there should be tiebreakers, if we're being honest. Tiebreaker is who plays more games in any playoff series, whether it be the both of them making it out the first round or them being stuck in the first round.
I don't know if there was any specifics like that, but I do agree with you. That would make things interesting.
Yeah, let's spice it up a bit. Speaking of the Canes and Islanders, it's a 3-1 victory in Game 1 at Raleighwood. Evgeny Kuznetsov, in his first playoff game with the Hurricanes, he gets the scoring going. He is credited with the first playoff goal of 2024. So, I actually want to... So, welcome on board to the first intermission report for those joining along at the Spaces side. Alec here with you. So, here we are, Evgeny Kuznetsov with the first goal on the power play. For those who are listening in onto the Twitch side, so I want to perhaps make things more clear about what could be further on down because I've Ian over at the Twitch side for those who are listening along. So Kuznetsov on the power play for Martin Necas and Brady Shea. That's the first goal of the playoffs. Kyle McQueen making his playoff debut for the Islanders. He's part of that fourth line on the bottom six. Anders Lee and Alex Romanov on the assists on McQueen's first career playoff goal. Stefan Nason scored what eventually was the game-winning goal at the 3:44 mark of the third. Martin Necas sealed the deal with an empty netter. Freddie Anderson stopping 33 of 34. The Canes decided to go with him to start things off. He finished with a .971 save percentage. Semyon Varlamov, 23 of 25. So, interesting decision by the Islanders to go with Varlamov in the first game. I'm not sure if they should go back with Ilya Sorokin for the second game, but is it a realistic possibility that they do so? I see that you're on mute, Ian. No problem, no problem. But it was an interesting decision, indeed, for the Islanders to go with Sorokin in Game 1. But not to go Sorokin in Game 1, pardon me. They went with Varlamov, who rode them to the hot hand down the stretch. I wonder what the decision making by Patrick Waugh is going to be for Game 2 in advance, if they stay with Varlamov or if they go to Sorokin. To say if the Islanders do fall down 2-0, would there be a goalie switch or do they continue on with Varlamov? So yeah, he did say about not wanting the background noise to be with this, interrupting this or anything, but personally, I would stick with Varlamov for the moment in Game 2, but if things get more and more going, then yeah, I'll go with Sorokin for Game 3 if things go further down the line. Now, over the NHL, also in the storylines, Mark Stone is set to return for the Golden Knights as he is cleared for contact practice. He was in a non-contact jersey entering the playoffs. I know a lot of fans are going to be angry at this, but it is legal. It is not cap circumvention. The salary cap turns off as soon as the playoffs come around. And something else of note, right around as we go, is we're looking onto NHL headlines, what we could see about what to watch for each one of these 16 teams in each of these series. I feel the Bruins-Leafs series may go one of two ways. The Leafs go out in Game 1, think about 3 first-round 7-game series wins the Bruins have against them, and fall apart, or the series becomes like the one back in 2018 when the Capitals overcome their demons against the Penguins and that momentum carries them over all the way to the next rounds. And this goaltending matchup is going to be the most attention. The Bruins have the advantage. The Leafs, they are facing adversity in the goaltending matchup. The intrigue is Boston finding a way to stop Toronto's offense. The Leafs, they are second in the NHL in goals per game at 3.63. if they load up Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm at the top pairing in an attempt to stop Austin Matthews, that's going to ask a lot from the other pairings against the other lines for the Leafs. Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha have done a more than admirable job in the middle of the season, but in the postseason where not having Bergeron and Krejci may be felt for Boston. Who knows how this is going to go? So, something else that we could see, and that is the case for the Hurricanes and Islanders. Hurricanes won the matchup in 6 games last season, but those were boring and predictable Lane Lambert Islanders. 2 terms that could not apply to Patrick Waugh. His Islanders are getting more scoring chances and they prevent fewer from opportunities and under Lambert. Waugh's team has been on a heater ending the season, winning 8 of 9 games, giving up 2 or fewer goals in 6 of them. So they're winning with Varlamov to start, but it might not be long before we see Sorokin. And Carolina's a different team as well. Jake Gensel took the Canes' top line from good to virtually unbeatable. They have expected goal share of 61% when he was on the ice. Evgeny Kuznetsov has had less of an impact. All my swings this thing to the Canes, but the Islanders are not going to go down quietly. But unfortunately for the Islanders, they may not get any benefit for overtime losses in the playoffs. And next first round series that we can look towards, Panthers and Lightning. The Battle of Florida has been lopsided, with the Bolts winning both previous meetings, and they won 8 out of 10 games between the teams. But those were different Bolts teams. But this team this team be more top heavy than they've ever been. There's a 29-point gap between the Bolts' 5th and 6th leading scorers. They don't have Mikhail Sergachev. They haven't had the same Andrei Vasilevsky that they relied on for years to carry them. And he's missed 2 months with injury, and he has a minus 10.84 goals saved above expected. If he comes into form again, there's always a chance. The Panthers, they're a bit top heavy as well, but they're deeper down the lineup, and they're better defensively than Tampa Bay. How good are the Panthers defensively? First in goals against average. And the Rangers and Caps, Charlie Lindgren was 5th in the league in goals saved above expected with 12.97. And he's won 4 or 5 games down the stretch. And Washington has an uncanny habit of overcoming expectations. Did he make the playoffs after an aggressive bit of selling at the trade deadline? The Rangers, they have the hex of the President's Trophy. 37 previous winners for having the league's best record in total for that. 8 of them won the Stanley Cup. And 8 of them didn't even make it out the first round. But losing to the Caps would be quite the upset. Alex Ovechkin and John Carlson saw this song and story before. The Caps won the President's Trophy in 2010. Ousted in the playoffs after leading 3-1 to the Montreal Canadiens with Yaroslav Halak as their netminder. That's the kind of scenario they may be needing. Although let's not sleep on elite defensive play that Spencer Carberry has gotten out of this lineup. So, from one sport to the other, as we go to the NBA playoffs in their first day of action. So we look at the final scores from what has transpired. The Cleveland Cavaliers begin their series with the Orlando Magic, showcasing their playoff experience. The Magic, of course, as expected, they looked a little inexperienced, and this game showed it. 97-83 the final score there, led by 30 points from Spider-Man Donovan Mitchell on 11 of 21 shooting, 16 each from Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, both of them having double-doubles. Allen with 16 and 18, 15 of them on the defensive end on the rebounding department. Mobley is 16 and 11 with 3 blocks. Allen with 2 steals. Darius Garland with 14 points and 8 assists. As for the Magic, Paolo Banchero with 24 points, 7 rebounds and 5 assists for the second-year man out of Duke, having played 41 minutes. 18 for Franz Wagner with 7 rebounds and 3 blocks. No, Banchero's 9 turnovers did not help. Essentially playing point guard on a team that is going point guard by committee between him and Jalen Suggs. So that's the 4-5 matchup. To start things off, the 3-6 matchup in the Western Conference, the Suns and the Timberwolves, 6th and 3rd in the West, respectively. The Despite 31 points from Kevin Durant with 7 rebounds, the Timberwolves used their size to their advantage, ousting the Suns in Game 1, 120-95 at Target Center. Anthony Edwards with 33 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, and with the flex on KD. The Cat, Karl-Anthony Towns with 19, 7 and 4. Nickeil Alexander-Walker with 18 points on 7 of 12 off the bench. Rudy Gobert with 14 points, 16 rebounds. He did not have a block. And the latest final score, the New York Knicks beating the Philadelphia 76ers 111-104 in Game 1. 22, 22, and 21 from Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Miles McBride respectively. Hart with 13 rebounds. Brunson with 7 and 7 in rebounds and assists. McBride went 7 to 12. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid with 33 and 29 before Embiid left with an injury. So Toronto starting the second period with a 4-on-3. Here's Martin at the right circle. He drops back over to Riley. Riley at the top of the right circle. He goes across over to Matthews at the left circle. At the top, Marner down low. Tavares is the extra man out there on the power play. Matthews fakes the one-timer. Now he deflects one over right in front for Riley. And that one went wide, and this one forced all the way out. Samsonov's going to come out to play this one behind. Up front is Riley. Dropping this backwards, and he'll set up for Matthews. Matthews moves it up for the left side. Now on to Marner. Marner backwards over to Riley at the left point and across for Marner again. I thought that was Marner, but that was Matthews. Down low is Matthews. Now back for Riley. He waits. Waiting and now out for Matthews again. Right circle. Riley's down low. Back for Matthews. Matthews across. Marner doesn't shoot. Instead looks for further options. Carlos on him. Marner fakes it. Takes it. Swayman several saves. His pad is in the crease. He still hangs on. 43 seconds on the 4-on-3 before we get 5-on-4 for 10 seconds. If the Leafs don't score on this. As John Tavares was trying to deflect this up front. But Swayman did a good job of holding his own. So face-off is to the right of Swayman. It's going to be Tavares and Coyle on the draw. Right circle, false start off the face-off. We'll do this over again. It was a tie-up. Coyle, one of 3 guys on the Bruins PK. Other 2 are Griswick. One tie from Matthews. That one smoked wide. And the other one is Andrew Peak. Tavares at the far corner. Dropping it back over all the way to Marner. Right across with Matthews. He fires it. That one's stopped by Swayman. Griswick gets poked away. Tavares onto it. Backwards over to Matthews. Now on to the point is Marner. Going back for Matthews. Spinorama out in front. Swayman 2 saves. Now behind the net. All going after each other. It is Coyle now picking this up. He'll escape this onto the opposite side. In 1-on-1. Coyle short-handed. Stick lifted. Now out for Matthews right in front. 4-on-3 time running out. Matthews is inside. Gets stripped of it. Leafs recover quickly. Marner right inside. This goes down to distance. Will this be an icing? No. It was across the red line before. It's jumped onto by Griswick. Power play over. And so we're back to 5-on-5. Griswick sends this one through the red line. And Samsonov plays it out over to the left side for Edmondson. Now here's a break. Here's Calle Yarncroke. He shoots. And a stop. Tight angle. Swayman another save. Poke through by Holmberg. Holmberg trying to keep this one inside the Bruins clear. Down for the lane. But he ices this. 2:25 into the second period. Early on, the Leafs with countless chances. Down inside through to the Boston end, whether it be on the 4-on-4 or the break by Calle Yarncroke. Tried to go far side on him. Then a tight angle shot for the other side was also stopped. Matthews tried the far side. The shot was going wide though. Initially, how it looked like. And on a false start off the face-off, it is Nick Robertson now taking this draw. Tie up on the face-off. Boston emerges cleanly. Peak moves around through the far side. And around this goes, it's a battle for the loose puck over the far half wall. Zaka poking at it. Yarncroke there. Robertson there. DeBrusque there. Holmberg and Marchand also waiting on this puck to emerge. Movement. Edmondson on the hold for the near side. Now picked up by the Bruins as Lindholm sweeps it out. Further down in the backhand. Samsonov plays it out over to Edmondson. Backhands this one along to his partner Liljegren. Liljegren gets this one out. Twisted and turned around as the Leafs get this one down the lane from Dewar. McAvoy jumps there first. For the far side, now picked up by Boston. They turn it over. This is McCabe holding it, but a stick lift. Pasternak takes it away. Swipe at it. The Leafs try to get this one further down. The Bruins quickly jump at it. 27-25 with the hits in favor of Toronto. Here's a long shot from McAvoy, who's stopped by Samsonov. McAvoy waiting out in front. Blocking away there was Kampf. The Bruins had a wide open net, but good defense by the Leafs to help out Samsonov. Turnover. Pasternak gets driven out. And now down the lane, here's Kampf. One-on-one with McAvoy. Drop backwards over to Dewar as he waits for help. Dewar trying to go backwards. Nothing in there. Pasternak takes it away. Down through center ice. On the way is Geekie. This one takes a bounce off a stick. Benoit was there. He drives Geekie to the boards. Now McCabe towards the far corner. Lauko tried to play it out. Leafs do so. And all the way down over to the Bruins end. I believe that may be Griswick now up for Lauko. Lauko sends it down inside. Lyubushkin slowed down by Frederick. This allows Geekie to pick it up where I thought he was gonna. Until the Leafs swoop in on him. Lyubushkin down for the middle. Tries to fire this one out. He found on the first time. And guts this one down through the lane the second time. Domi 6-1 out. Bruins back with this. Here's Frederick. Hauled down by Bertuzzi, or slowed down rather. Now there's some contact towards the behind the net wall. Driven over to Domi, and now through the opposite side, it's a foot race to the puck. McAvoy is slowed down. Swayman playing this one out. Oh, the Leafs almost had a freebie and rang off the bar. Was this close to a tie game? That could have been a freebie. Goodness. 15-15 left in the second period as Edmondson draws on this. Driven out to center as the Leafs go back the other way. Here's John Tavares. Driven wide. 5 chances for the Leafs in this second period to the Bruins 0. Tavares over the far corner. Now behind that one-timer driven on wide. Tavares can't find anyone at the right point. Now here's Benoit. Benoit moves it over far side towards the Bruins zone. Or the Bruins bench, rather. Now back the other way is Shattenkirk as he sends one up for Maroon. Maroon sends us inside. Chase for this puck. It's Riley jumping to it first. Shoved away by Coyle. And now here comes Toronto. Low sticking away. Here's DeBrusque. Turnaround shot. And good defense there by Knies with his stick to have DeBrusque falling down. Coyle poke loose. He stays on this. Feed over to Marchand. This took a bounce off a body. Lindholm holds it with 14-20. Coyle got knocked loose. Battle at the near corner. Taken away by DeBrusque. Now over the right circle. Score! Coyle was at the net front. Carlo with the shot. Bruins up 2-0. Didn't look like much as several Bruins were falling down. The Leafs missed out on a freebie in which Swayman was way out of his net. It costed them and bit them as Carlo fires one top of the right circle, top shelf, and uses Pontus Holmberg as a screen. Samsonov can't see this puck, can't react to it quickly. Trying to jump to the right side on the one-timer, but a good seeing guy by DeBrusque. And so it is 2-0. Leafs try to get one back here as Domi one-on-one. He slows down right on Lindholm. Right across, can't find anyone. Liljegren jumps to it late. 13:53 to go in the period. Backhand inside by Matthews. Bertuzzi chasing after it. Carlo sticks it on away. Heinen there. Up for Pasternak. Pasternak sends this one inside. Domi chasing after it. Domi backhands this one through. And on for Edmondson now behind the net. Pasternak is there. Liljegren on the receiving feed. Behind Samsonov. Watched by Lauko. As everyone surveys their options as Liljegren is waiting for fresh bodies. It'll start now. Left side is Edmondson, his defensive partner, going back. Edmondson going for a change. Leafs get this one down and inside. Griswick picks it up and feeds it over to the far side. Was poked away. Leafs trying to hold. Dewar trying to shoot this one off. Reeves. Rebound in front. Swayman under pressure. Keeps his cool. Kempf can't find the open man inside. Bruins might have iced this. No. Not too long for an icing as Benoit jumps right onto it. Glove down by Geeky. Trying to jump onto it, and Samsonov sees this loose puck jump onto him. So he slows the action down and will force a face-off at the break. 12:49 to go in the second period. It was a wide open net by Toronto. They can't capitalize on it. Ryan Reeves gets stopped by Swayman on several rebound chances. Brandon Carlo has this goal that gets the Bruins up 2-0. We'll be right back in just a moment. We're back here in Boston. The Bruins leading 2-0 here through the second period as we are back underway here. Brandon Carlo with the goal that puts the Bruins up 2-0. He is currently on the bench. It's him from Jake DeBrusk and Hampus Lindholm. Bruins win the faceoff. Here's Shattenkirk keeping this one around. Behind the net is Maroon. Right point, long shot was blocked in front. Loose puck. Find its way to Samsonov. He'll hold on. Then everyone jumps right on each other's throats. Jesper Boquist with Ilya Labushkin. It was a loose stick. So far, Jeremy Swayman's a perfect 20-for-20. Ilya Samsonov, his counterpart, is 12-of-14. That took a wacky bounce right out front of a block on the long shot from the right point. Not often do you see shots like those find its way over to the right side, or in this case, Samsonov's left side, onto the net, making wild bounces as it was Andrew Peak taking that shot. As we are back underway here, and now a face-off at the left circle. Holmberg on the false start to face-off. Kalle Jarnkrok will take his place. Morgan Geeky on the other side. Queen face-off win by Jarnkrok in the absence of Holmberg at the face-off dot. Down for the middle. Leafs can't get a hold to it. Shattenkirk driven towards the wall. Now back the other direction. Holmberg and Frederick going after this. Sticking this one away from Frederick. Now Riley. Moved around for the far side. Bruins hold. Held in by Geeky. Driven on further. Now back is Labushkin. Labushkin moves it up through the ice. At the right side is Jarnkrok. He's in the Bruins zone, but is forced out. Back inside is Geeky, trying to split the defense. Driving his way to the net. Drop pass. Intercepted there by Riley. Good read there to cut off that pass. Now one-on-one is Holmberg on Peak. Holmberg. He decides to wait for help. Gets spun around through the boards and looks for someone behind the net. The Bruins were there first. Leafs slow this one down. A drop pass over to Lalko. Lalko moves it over to the near half wall. Lalko picked apart by McCabe as Lalko goes down hard. Woof. Talk about heavy slamming towards the boards. There's another instance. Carlo tries to drive it further. Can't do so, but Jake DeBrusk gets it down through the ice. It'll be gloved down by Benoit. now driven further backwards. Benoit gets a hold of it, McKay for the other side. Max Domi at center ice. Moves it opposite side. It was gloved down before the Leafs can drive this into the zone. But Toronto picked it up at their own end. Brody Ice has sent this up. It went off the skate of Bertuzzi, the ex-Bruin. Bertuzzi shoves away Lindholm. David Kampf sends it backwards and the return feed right around. Bertuzzi missed it. Held in for the moment as Toronto goes after this puck. It's Boston to it. Marchand drives it backwards. It's gloved down now by Edmondson. Joe Edmondson moves it over left side. Connor Dewar on the entry. Dewar's shot was gloved down by Swayman. He'll hang on and force a face-off. Some minor pushing and shoving in the meantime with 10:47 to go. And just a reminder, we have the bracket challenge underway here. Right now, as the NHL is hosting it, all brackets will be locked at the conclusion of every game one of the first round. Mitch Marner's back on the ice as the top line takes out onto the ice once again. With the 10:47 mark of this second period, Tavares and Zacha false starting to draw. Tavares is tossed out. It'll be Mitch Marner to take his place opposite Zacha as the Bruins shift up their line with Charlie McAvoy going the other direction. It's the Bruins waiting to face off. Here's McAvoy. McAvoy picks it up. Now over this goes right up forward to Heinen. Poked further by Marner. The Leafs keep this one into the zone. Back down low this goes as McAvoy keeps it away from Marner. Bruins move it up. 3-on-2. Here's Pasternak. Left side for Zacha. Leafs trying to close it in. Here's Grizzly. Top of the left circle. Save! Samsonov. He'll hang off 10:23. And as we get a stoppage in play, I think that's back through to a solo broadcast once again. We're commencing to face off soon enough. And it'll be to the right of Samsonov on the next play. As we get back underway here in just a moment, it is Kampf and Johnny Beecher. Offensive zone draw. Beecher is tossed out. Boquist will take his place. Boquist wins it. Back to the point. Long shot. Peak. That was blocked. Benoit trying to clear. Can't do so. But getting a hold of it was Dewar. Dewar down for the lane. One Bruin got a stick onto it. And further back this goes as Boquist gets twisted and turned by Benoit. Back up forward. The Leafs tried to go. But Peak was in the way. Across for Shattenkirk. Halfway mark of the second period. Bruins get this one deep. Benoit is now behind the net. Around for the far side. Bruins hold. Trying to deflect this one down for the ice. Maroon was there. McKay pushing and shoving. Maroon through the wall. Several grabs and tugs between Benoit and Boquist. McKay was in on Maroon one more time before Kampf has a hold of this puck. Leafs driving the ice. Down for the near corner they dump this into. Pete gets his on his backhand over to Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk down the distance for Pasternak and now Heinen. Heinen driven around. James Van Riemsdyk is the healthy scratch. Normally he'll be on the second line. Pavel Zacha and Pasternak around his knives at the offensive zone. Tries to twist and turn it around, but poking further is Pasternak. Partial break here. Pasternak twisting and turning. Several Leafs were onto him. Poked this one loose, and all the way back the other way is Marner. Tried to get this one down inside. Griswick was there. Zacha gets this one through the other side. Heinen driving the distance. Heinen through the swat. Knives was there. Gets this one out. Griswick. Up for the ice. On this dump in, Bruins make changes. 8:50 going the period. Here's Liljegren. Liljegren for the far side. Moves this one down the distance. Grabbing hold of it for a shot was Matthews that hit the side of the cage. Matthews. Lindholm was in on him with Carlo. Carlo can't clear. Is held in by Toronto. Tyler Bertuzzi, long shot. It'll be held in by Lyubushkin over the near corner for Domi as Lyubushkin goes after this. Goes on to DeBrusk stick. DeBrusk gets this one out. Marchand stumbles. He falls down. Regains his edge. And we do have something here It is ruled a hand pass against Boston. Brandon Carlo was there. And so that'll stop play. 8:25 to go, second period. We'll be right back with you. Stanley Cup playoffs on Spaces. I'm Alec Nava. On the Spaces and Twitch side. We'll return momentarily. Jeremy Swayman keeping his cool in net as he is maintaining his shutout. He stopped 21 Toronto shots, riding in hot as the hotter hand for the Bruins in their goaltending situation. You can't go wrong either way. If the decision that you can go in net, if you're the Boston Bruins, between him and Linus Ullmark. They went with Ullmark last season. This year they went with a younger man, Swayman. 8:10 to go as we are back underway here at TD Garden. Move forward, here's Jake McCabe. McCabe sends this one down for the lane as we get this one inside. Stumbling onto his Holmberg, he keeps his balance. Holmberg along the sin bin side, shoved around by who I believe was Frederick. It was Frederick. Griswick sends it across over to McAvoy. McAvoy for the middle. Left side is Lauko. Lauko tries a long shot. East glove down by Samsonov. With 7:45 to go, he'll force a faceoff. And Mitch Marner, who's a deciding factor in this game, a lot of pressures on the Leafs to perform. And they had one playoff series victory last year, but this year is the true test. Can they get another one and make a deep playoff run? Austin Matthews with Max Domi. These two are line mates now, and ever since the first line of Bertuzzi, Domi, and Matthews was formed, this line was on a tear. Zacha and Tavares on the draw. Mitch Marner's at the left wing side if anything were to happen. False start, Marner will jump onto it for the faceoff. And now Zacha's tossed out. In will come Pastrnak, so we'll have a faceoff of wingers. Mitch Marner and David Pastrnak. It is Pastrnak. Quick shot by Zacha. And Samsonov saw it all the way. 7:42 to go. So as we look at the goal leaders since the start of last season, both Matthews and Pastrnak are evenly matched in goals. Matthews with 109 goals since the start of 22-23. Pastrnak with 108. Mikko Rantanen and Braden Point tied for third with 97. This time it's Zacha winning the draw. Griswick's long shot goes wide. Zacha tries to find a way around it. Tavares was there. Zacha poke checking away from it for Tavares. The Bruins are forced out by the Leafs. Good defensive work there. The Leafs have it back. Now up for the near side is McCabe. McCabe through the near side. Swayman playing this one out. McAvoy sandwiched towards the wall. 7:18 to go. And I believe Heinen is getting stick checked or stick looked at several times by Nice, but Heinen stood with this. This looks a bounce off McCabe, and McCabe gets ran into by Heinen. It's been a near perfect fit between him and Boston. Thus far, Liljegren driven towards the wall by Pasternak. Now over the near wall. Marchand driven towards there. Mitch Marner sends it backwards over to Timothy Liljegren with less than 7 minutes to go. Clock showing 6:50. Liljegren across. Hits 39-32 Toronto. These two are two of the top free hitting teams in the NHL. The only one ahead of Toronto is Florida. Morgan Riley protects it away. Through the far wall, the Leafs enter. At the top of the left circle, quick shot. That one set up high. Bruins jumping to it. Leafs keep this one in though. Around for the wall is Domi. Hand off for Bertuzzi. Save made by Swayman. Bertuzzi holds. And we have a whistle here for a high stick, it seems. Charlie McAvoy might have got high sticked. It's going to be against Austin Matthews on the penalty. You don't know where the high stick was, but Tyler Bertuzzi with the turnaround shot right around through Jeremy Swayman, that could have been a good scoring chance. The placement was there. There was an open hole, but you got to elevate that shot. But Matthews on the high stick. They're not showing the penalty on our side, but he's going to get 2 minutes. These two were teammates on Team USA, but now they're enemies once again. They won gold together with the World Juniors, and now they're on opposite sides of the ice. They love to be in Team USA and the World Hockey Championship that's going to happen soon enough. Bruins back to the power play, they're third. Soon enough, you'd think they're going to score on the man advantage. Over to the left side is Pavel Zacha starting things up. Pass backwards over to Pasternak, who drives it up through the ice. Left side's maroon, 61 in black and white, black, yellow, and white. Around us goes Edmondson, intercepting the lane, and he takes this one all the way out. Back deep, this is Swayman leaving this one out for Shattenkirk. Remember this third pairing, he's now power play quarterback number 1. Zacha moves across, left side and back. Move forward up, and the Leafs get this one out. All the way out. Shattenkirk to it, starting up at the near corner of his own zone. Good Leafs defense here as they're stepping up their penalty kill for the numbers that they had for the regular season. DeBrusk going wide to the right. Now driving to the inside. Behind the net was Lyubushkin trying to clear. Just held in by Marchand. Here's Coyle in the near wall. And around is Geekie. Over the near corner looking for options. Geekie drives his one over to the point where it's Marchand. Now McAvoy. McAvoy drives it down low. Holding it is DeBrusk. DeBrusk fires and scores! Third time is the charm! The Bruins on the power play strike! Another screenshot. Jake DeBrusk with the turnaround shot as he looked at the top of the right circle, same place where Carlos scored the second Boston goal. And several screens of the way, Simon Benoit being one of them, Geekie providing the net front. And once again, Samsonov can't see anything out of that. When your goaltender can't see anything, that's a byproduct of the screens. And that's why it's so important in scoring these playoff type goals. Screens being necessary at this point. Leafs off the faceoff as Domi was jumping the lane. Now down 3-0. They need a comeback. DeBrusk with the goal, you get them up 3-0 for the Bruins. Carlo. Oh, he sandwiches Bertuzzi. Leafs take it right back. And Domi just flips this onto Swayman's glove. 4:40 left to go in the second period. And Jake DeBrusk with the power play marker to get Boston up 3-0. Third time is the charm. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs on the broadcast of Spaces and Twitch. We'll be taking a break here at this moment. Jake DeBrusk, a homegrown Bruin, as he is on the lineup and out onto the ice right now. He's a real big difference maker for them, and he coming up with the big goals at the opportune times. A goal and assist for him thus far. 23-19, the shots advantage for the Leafs. However, the Leafs have yet to solve Jeremy Swayman. Will this be the time? Who knows? Offside on the entry. We'll have a face-off just outside the attacking zone. Swayman a perfect 23 for 23. Here is Samsonov, 16 of 19. Here in game 1. But the trend here is, well, so in case anyone is wondering, initially, my friend John Ott and I, we were supposed to do this cast together. However, he's covering a Waterford Sharks game, and they wanted to be on site in Muskegon. He's covering the finals, games 1 and 2 this weekend. We'll be back in touch together. Game 2 between the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. We have a penalty here. It's going to be Max Domi. And Domi's not happy about the slashing penalty against him. Well, he's missing his front teeth. It appears that it's Domi going to serve 2. He got Brad Marchand to draw a penalty against him. It's slashing. That's going to be the call. So the Bruins to their 4th power play. When you give a team one too many power plays, you're going to have them with so much advantages to a clear extent. This is Boston's 4th power play opportunity of the game. The Leafs have just 1 in total. This time around, it is Sheldon Keefe as the head coach of the Leafs and not Mike Babcock like it was the previous 2 times around. Bruce Cassidy was the head coach of the Bruins in 18 and 19. It's Jim Montgomery this time around for the Bruins. Pastrnak through the middle. Inside, he gets decked! Patrick Maroon holds this one in for the moment, but what a hit by Toronto on David Pastrnak. He doesn't have a goal so far for the moment, but he would love to get one. The Leafs clear. 1:25 to go on the power play for the Bruins. 3:45 on the clock. Drop backwards to Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk driving the lane to the right side. Now moving aside for Heinen. Up front is Pastrnak. Stopped by Samsonov. It's Maroon holding this in. Pastrnak back with this at the swat. This one's close up. Pastrnak can't get to us. The Leafs got there first. Now down deep. This is Shattenkirk. On the hold at his own zone. A minute to go on the man advantage. DeBrusk from McAvoy and Marchand is a goal tally. Second unit out there on the ice for the Bruins. This was the one that scored the 3-0 goal for Boston. Puck is out of play with 47 left on the man advantage. 3:08 on the second period. So there's 2 goals for the Bruins this far. The game questions here for the Leafs. How will they respond is actually offside against the Bruins as they rule it with 16:52 transpired. It'll be Charlie Coyle and David Kampf on the faceoff. It's Kampf winning it. Edmondson gets this one down. All the way over to Jeremy Swayman. He'll lead this one behind over to McAvoy. 2:57 left in the period. McAvoy backwards. Over this goes over to DeBrusk. DeBrusk to the left side. Marchand spun around. Now forward this goes over to Dewar. As the Leafs poke this one away, the Leafs kill off some more time. Coyle moves to the side. DeBrusk will restart. On the other way. At the far side, he moves this one down for the distance and over to the near boards. This gets picked up by McCabe. Bruins jump there. Now back for McAvoy as he fires a long shot out in front. DeBrusk, he scores! He's done it again on the man advantage! Jake DeBrusk with 2! Three-point night for the Edmonton native as he does the dirty work inside. It took a bounce off of Samsonov right through off his pad. And he got most of it, but not all of it. So at least we're trying to get this one all the way out. Can't do so. Oh, tough break for Samsonov. And if you're Sheldon Keefe, do you switch to Joseph Woll momentarily? Because so far, this has been a drubbing. Ouch. 3 points tonight. His 24th career playoff goal. Johnny Beecher opened his scoring tonight. He was the faceoff. And the Leafs are back in their own end. Moved around all the way to Bertuzzi. Drop backwards onto Matthews. Matthews moves it down. Lindholm picks it up. The Leafs top line silent here all the way tonight. Here's Matthews. Fires it onto the other side. Puck comes back to him on the rebound. At the point, it's Riley. Shot over to the near corners. Matthews tries him with a tight corner. And this one went out of play with 156. Off of Swayman and out. Crazy thing about this is that Matt Potro was on the lineup. He's the Bruins Rookie of the Year. But the way that he's been playing, he is out until June. Essentially, if the Bruins don't advance to the Stanley Cup Final, his season's essentially over. So the Leafs with some of their best offensive pressures throughout this game, but it doesn't account for much. They still have a big donut hole right onto them. It'll be Domi at the right wing side, looking set up for a quick shot off the faceoff. Matthews and Coyle on the draw. Coyle wins it, all the way back over to Peak. And a penalty against the Bruins. A scuffle afterwards as both teams go one-on-one with each other. And I think someone for the Bruins is going to be sent to the box. There was a loose stick on the ice. Might be a slash. That's what something's telling me about. Marchand has a ward with the linesman at 83. Matt McPherson. Max Domi has scored to the bench. Joseph Woll is the backup if Sheldon Keefe wants to go to him. So we're getting the penalty at this moment. You're receiving fee of this call. There's Matthews going down. I think this may be more of a trip rather than a slash. Marchand is protesting this call. And he's visibly not happy about it. So the referees are sorting this one out. Gord Dwyer's there, explaining things to Marchand and Tavares. Charlie Coyle is escorted to the box. Leaves to the power play. 6 seconds of carryover time if Toronto does not score. Tomorrow, the upcoming games are Bolts, Panthers, Capitals, Rangers, Avs, Jets, and Predators, Canucks. So divided on whether I would want to have coverage of the Geico 500 at Talladega Superspeedway or Game 1 of the Avalanche and the Jets. Most likely somewhere in between. Leafs power play gets set up. 1:45 left. Marner to the right side for Yarncroke. Bruins try to poke it away. Lindholm goes down. Marner in the way there. Marchand also. Leafs can't keep this one in. They drive this one all the way out accidentally. But it's good defense by the Bruins to get this one all the way out to force them out. 30 seconds gone on the power play. Yarncroke waiting for a lane to develop. Drops it back over to Matthews. He'll start up now. Trying to carry this momentum inside. He moves it down deep, attacking the lane. Carlo there. Matthews also there. Lindholm tries to sweep this one out. That was a slow attempt at a clear. Riley just holds this one through. Yarncroke back over to Marner and now Riley. 55 left in the period. Here's Marner at the right point. Drives it further down over to Tavares, and now here's Marner to Riley. Riley waits, and on to Marner. This goes over to the left circle. Mitch Marner. Tavares sends up at the bumper position. Riley's one-timer blocked in front. Bruins clear of 40 left in the period. If the Leafs don't score here, they'll have 6 seconds of carryover power play time. 33 on the period. Riley to the right side. Finds Liljegren as both teams make unit changes. Domi drops it backwards over to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi drives it through the lane. Gets slowed down. Peak arrives there first. Bertuzzi putting the physical presence onto him. Driven forward over to Zacha. Zacha back the other direction. Short-handed. Zacha goes to the right. Here's Jake DeBrus looking for the hat trick. He drives to the net. Samsonov with the stop. Held in by Charlie McAvoy. This takes a bounce off the body. And with 3 seconds, Toronto's just going to take this to the third period. 4-0 Bruins. They explode for a 3-goal outing. here in this second period. And Boston goes to the locker rooms with smiles on their faces as they're up 4-0 here in game one after 2 periods. And the Bruins actually rang the pipe. That was so close to being the second goal, or third goal rather, that he has had. Would have been a natural hat trick for him. We scored 2 on the power play and 1 shorthanded. Second intermission coming up next here. Stanley Cup playoffs, Spaces, and Twitch. I'm Alec Nava. We'll be back soon. Welcome to the second emission report here on the NHL on Spaces and Twitch. I am Alec Nava, and boy, what a period it's been for Jake DeBrusk. 3 points, the primary assist on the Brandon Carlo goal, firing the one-timer for the right circle, top of the right circle, and then DeBrusk striking with 2 power play goals, both at the net front, and almost had a third one, but he rang it off the pipe, short-handed. Would have been a nice sight for Bruins fans in attendance, watching him get a natural hat trick. 74 in the black and the white. So to refresh your memory, Johnny Beecher gets his first career playoff goal to start the scoring for the Bruins, making it 1-0. Well, the first one was actually not the net front, but from the same place that Carlos scored. Carlos scores at the top of the right circle, with DeBrusk providing the feed from the goal line. Hampus Lindholm with the other assist. DeBrusk, top of the right circle, from Charlie McAvoy and Brad Marchand to make it 3-0. The first of 2 power play goals for DeBrusk, and then DeBrusk scoring the second one with 2:26 left in the third from Marchand and McAvoy. So this trio connecting on all two, or both of the power play goals that the Bruins have had. And DeBrusk almost had a shorthanded goal, which would have made it 3-0, but safe to say that DeBrusk has been the best player on the Bruins so far tonight. He's been making things happen, and he's been a real difference maker for them thus far. Hampus Lindholm and the rest of this defense shutting down most of the Leafs. And even though the Leafs have 25 shots on goal, they've been forcing them out to the less dangerous areas. The Bruins are making their chances count. They're not a team that likes to shoot a lot, but when they do make their chances count. That's not to take away for the Leafs. They're a high-scoring team, but they're a very top-heavy team. Of course, they have the core 5 of Matthews, Nylander, Marner, Tavares, and Riley. But you don't have Nylander playing if you're Toronto in Game 1. He is out of an injury tonight. And at some point, you want him to come back into the series to provide that extra boost. I mean, his absence is going to leave a mark on the Leafs, but it should be felt this hard, especially into the second period. And the Bruins, they assert themselves as the better team in that second period. So as we move over, we have some news from the NHL. Jonathan Drouin will not suit up for the Colorado Avalanche in the first round as he is out with a lower body injury. He tripped in the second period in what was a meaningless game against the Edmonton Oilers. He skated off the ice and did not return. He turned in a career season with 56 points, 19 of which were goals, after signing with the Avs as a free agent in the summer. Typically, he was on the same line as Mikko Rantanen as good friend Nathan MacKinnon, who was having himself a Hart Trophy-worthy season with 140 points. It's unfortunate that Drouin went down. And of course, MacKinnon, he said, super unfortunate. I feel really bad for him. I know he's crushed right now. He's been building all season for this. We can't replace him. Obviously, it sucks for the team, but for him as a person, it's just so sad. Hopefully, we get him back sooner than later. Both of them were drafted in the top 3 in the 2013 NHL entry draft. Drouin has played for the Lightning, the Canadiens, and now the Avalanche. But with the Avalanche, he's got himself a career year. There's still an outside chance that Gabriel Landeskog returns in time for the team, but it's not likely. Don't count on it. But Landeskog, he's joined the team on the ice. He skated around, chatting with teammates. He wasn't close to being a full participant in practice. Just remember, he had cartilage replacement surgery on his right knee, and he is scheduled to miss a second straight season. And as a result of Drouin's injury, the Avs have called up Brad Hunt, Chris Wagner, and Arvid Holm from the Colorado Eagles of the AHL in response to Drouin's injury. I feel it's going to be a hit, considering the impact that he has brought onto the ice. In the World Championships, John Hynes has been named the head coach of the United States for next month's IIHF Men's World Championship in Czechia. The USA Hockey announced this appointment for the event that will take place, and the games will be played in Prague and Ostrava. He also coached the national team in 2016 and 2019, finishing the first year as the coach of the NHL's Wild this week. where they missed the playoffs. He has also been the head coach of the Predators and the Devils, and for Wilkes-Barre Scranton in the AHL. He spent 6 years as a head coach for USA Hockey's National Team Development Program, playing at Boston University and completing 4 NCAA Frozen Fours, winning the championship in 1995 for the Terriers. And as for the Golden Knights, both of Mark Stone and Alex Pietrangelo have returned to practice. Pietrangelo has been out with an illness. Stone has been out since February 20th, where he was diagnosed with a lacerated spleen, going to the LTIR for the second year in a row. Last year, had a second back surgery in a 13-month window that led to him being out the lineup starting in mid-January before returning ahead of the first-round series against the Winnipeg Jets. Pietrangelo had an illness, which is not COVID-related, in late March, returning to games at March 30th and April 2nd against Minnesota and Vancouver, that was diagnosed with appendicitis. After undergoing an appendectomy, he started to practice while going for rehab, and he is fully healed. And before his injury, Stone was having the best year of his career. 16 goals, 53 points in 56 games, on pace to finish what would have been a career high in 78 points, while logging more than 19 minutes in average ice time. His absence led to the Knights being one of the most active teams at the NHL trade deadline. Moving him and his $9.5 million cap hit to the LTIR got the necessary cap space to get them a top 9 forward in Anthony Mantha, a top pairing defenseman in Noah Hanifin, and a surprise move in getting top 6 forward Tomas Hertl at the final hour. No salary cap restrictions are placed in the playoffs, so the Knights are able to activate Stone without needing to worry about a corresponding financial move. His return will give them another top 6 forward, who's been one of the most consistent players since he was traded to the club back in the 2019 season from the Ottawa Senators. And last year, he helped the Golden Knights reach the Stanley Cup final for the second time in their franchise history. They won in 5 games over the Florida Panthers. And this season, the Golden Knights will be starting as the second wild card. Their journey will start against the Dallas Stars in a rematch of last year's Western Conference Final, in which Vegas won in 6 games. William Nylander has not skated with the team for the Toronto Maple Leafs since Thursday, did not take the ice for warm-ups. So that means Calle Jarnkrok will slide into the power play spot in which Nylander occupied most of the time, and Nick Robertson steps into the third line. Some would say, what's the decision between Ryan Reeves and Bobby McMahon on the fourth line? The Leafs are going with Reeves in the agitator role. Him as playing the role of the enforcer, most likely countering Patrick Maroon of the Boston Bruins. In response, so hits are 41-34 Leafs. Here for 2 periods, shots 25-21 Leafs. The Bruins have won 28 out of 42 faceoffs. Sometimes the numbers may not make sense, but it does make sense when you count for the faceoff wins and the power plays that they have capitalized on. They're 2 of 4 on the man advantage. The Leafs are 0 for 2. They have 6 seconds left on the power play. And Jeremy Swayman maintaining a 24-save shutout through 2 periods. And meanwhile, in the NBA, is the third quarter of Nuggets-Lakers. Denver takes the lead 74-71 on the 17-11 run in this third quarter. Denver's won 8 straight games against the Lakers dating back to last season. They've swept the Western Conference Final last year, 4-0 against the Lakers. Oh, and we're seeing some tweets about the Leafs in the playoffs. The Nios vanish. And then and a pair of meme, it seems, from one of the Leafs on the other one. So when we come back, we'll have the third period covered here on the NHL Stanley Cup playoff action on both Spaces and Twitch. I'm Alec Nava. See you soon. Entering this third period, Boston leading 4-0. It's been all Bruins thus far. Maple Leaf Square rather silent. They're going through the run and want to see things differently as Jim Montgomery is 7-1-0. They have a lead through 2 periods. Last year was not only in Game 7 against the Florida Panthers. The Bruins trailed 2-1 entering the third. They tied up with Tyler Bertuzzi scoring. Then David Pastrnak got the go-ahead goal in the third period. Only for it to all fall apart in the final minute with Brandon Montour scoring the tying goal, then Carter Verhaeghe in overtime. Charlie Coyle going to spend 6 more seconds in the penalty box before he exits. Johnny Beecher and John Tavares on the draw on the opening faceoff. Joe Edmondson's out there. They know the power play is about to expire. And out comes Coyle. Leafs bring this in. Bruins looking to get this one out. It's Liljegren trying to send this smooth. Tavares out in front. That was fended out by Swayman. Edmondson back at center ice. Moves this one forward. Tapped inside by Marner. Batik is Marchand. Marchand away from Tavares. As both teams go out of here, comes Tavares. He may have a clear path. Fires one. Swave by Swayman. 86 miles an hour on the shot. Bertuzzi on the keep. Spun around and the Bruins get this one out. Driving down for the zone. Far side on the dump in. Riley leaves this one behind as he gets rammed into by DeBrusk. Lyubushkin to the far side. Toronto with this puck. Opposite way is Riley. Picked up now by Peak. Peak for the near side, along the Simbin side. Lyubushkin shoves away Heinen. Played behind by Samsonov on for Riley. Riley, behind the net, a minute 08 into this third period. And essentially the Bruins can wrap this one up, unless we have a miracle here by the Leafs on a comeback, which could be of improbable proportions. Domi can't locate this one on the pass. Back inside comes Heinen. On the other way, this was sticked away. David Kemp was there. Kemp fires it across for the ice. Shattenkirk picks it up as he missed the pass over to Reeves. Now Reeves over Kemp. Knocked away by Peak. Kemp sticks with it. Backhands this one back to the point for Benoit. Benoit's long shot was stick down. Rebound out in front. And the Leafs break the shutout. David Kemp gets one back. So there's one. They need 3 more. It's Kemp from Ryan Reeves. Sustained pressure time is this 4th line of all lines for the Leafs to break this shutout for Toronto to get them on the board to score their first goal. As Connor Dewar is setting up David Kemp with a backhand pass from the low slot. Kemp finds himself available room as Swayman tried to do a sprawling save over to the left side. Just ran out of time to do so. And there's something for Toronto, but they just need 3 more. Kemp from Dewar and Reeves on the assist as Holmberg goes in, takes a hard shove down, far corner. Geeky is in on him. Poke checks around as the Leafs get some more pressure around. Liljegren around for the boards. Up for Edmondson, bounce off the outside cage. Robertson looks at the far side. Robertson continues to survey. At the far corner, twisting and turning around Geeky. Still no pass as Robertson goes down. Pontus Holmberg for the half wall far side. Drops it back further for Robertson. On the hold. Charlie McAvoy jumps in front. Was closed off. Good keep by Robertson. Robertson in front. Holmberg directs it wide. So close to making a 2-goal game. Good keeping there by Toronto. One shot by Holmberg. Blocked off. Fight for the puck. Marner was there. Bounced off the skate. Lauko picks it up from right behind. Now on to the other direction as they get this one down for the ice. On the direction as they get this through. This is Lyubushkin. Kemp from Reeves and Benoit. Officially, it's an icing against the Bruins. So the Leafs will pick this one up and get an offensive zone draw. Boston can't change. They still have their third line out there. Frederick there. Geeky there. The Leafs get their top line out. They're grouping Matthews with Marner and Tavares. 5 shots for Matthews, looking for 70th goal overall. Tie up at the draw. Some help from Griswick gets his face-off win for Geeky. Frederick can't get this one out as Benoit is holding the left point. Bouncing up, Matthews there along the half wall. Spun around over to the far corner. Jumping onto it was Griswick, but Marner was there. Driven away, but now it goes over to the right point, opposite point. Benoit's long shot was driven wide. Over to the opposite corner. This is held in. Tavares will look over to Benoit, and that shot went up high. Held in by Jake McCabe. Lauko was shoving him aside. Onto the bumper. This now is picked up at the left circle. Bruins clear. Benoit chases this one down, locates it at the left circle of the Leaf zone. 16:30 as Benoit will leave it behind over to Edmondson. Defensive pair changes and forward changes. Moved inside by Toronto as both teams go inside as Camp is holding the near corner. Stick checks it away as Dewar sends it behind over to Edmondson. Edmondson on the hold. Around this goes. Twisting and turning was Reeves and Carlo as they bump into one another. Reeves right behind. Here's Edmondson's long blast. This goes wide the net. Had an open look at the top of the right circle. DeBrusque in on one of the Leafs. Driven on the way. Here's Coyle. Can't secure it. Now he can. It was Dewar right in on him. Coyle drops it back. And here's Carlo. Will move it across with the red line. This takes a bounce off the referee. It bounces over to Samsonov. And he'll leave it over to Edmondson. Right side this goes. Long stretch pass to take a bounce off the Leaf. Max Domi rushes to it first. Can't secure it. Boquist can. Loses it. Bertuzzi with the hold. Bertuzzi's shot went wide. And out this goes. Picking this up is Lyubushkin, who'll drive it on his backhand. Takes a bounce off Beecher. And picked up by Riley. Top defensive pairing out there for Toronto. Bertuzzi drives it in. Bertuzzi. Around for Riley, and now here's Domi. The top line out there for the Leafs. Domi holds it. On to Lyubushkin at the left point. Ilya Lyubushkin sends it down low intentionally. Picking this one up is Matthews. In front! And no shot on goal there. Right by Lyubushkin this goes, and all the way to the Toronto zone. Lyubushkin to the opposite side. Intercepted on the lane as it's Zacha, who will just send this one down and get some more line changes for the Bruins. Toronto back the other direction. Riley feeding Lyubushkin. Lyubushkin up for the side. Yarncrook was sticked away. Good defense by the Bruins. Here comes Pasternak. Robertson on his tail. Robertson pokes it away. Pasternak goes back onto it. Loose puck now picked up by Yarncrook. Now back deep is Benoit, who received the feed. Onto the left side, Holmberg on the entry. Holmberg in front, sticked away by one of the Bruins. That was Lindholm. All the way back out this goes. And the first two there was Robertson. Robertson there. He is viciously shoved away by one of the Bruins. As Holmberg takes a shove from Frederick. Physicality amping up as Geeky on the takeaway. Back to the left point. This goes over to Griswick. Long shot. This bounces over to Samsonov, who stops it. Lauko moves around. Keeps it inside. Back out. McAvoy at the right point. Opposite point is Griswick. On for Lauko. He's closed out. Backhand shot was stopped partially by Samsonov. Griswick spins this one around for the Boars. Far to near. Holding this is McAvoy. Keeps it inside. Behind the net for Geeky, who gets it over to the left point for Griswick. Frederick is at the right point. Now Griswick goes opposite point. He finds McAvoy. Back across. Morgan Geeky winds up. Fires it. Blocked away by Yarncrook. He loses his stick. Lauko shoved away. Trying so hard to hold this one in. McCabe dare in on him. Lauko on the hold. Shoved down, but not before he passes over to McAvoy at the right point. Charlie McAvoy serving his options over at the top of the point. Geeky over to DeBrusque, who is fresh with the bench. Jumping onto his Marchand as they go over to line changes. Now Geeky going on for a line change. Penalty is coming up against the Leafs. Marchand still looking. And that was touched by one of the Leafs. The Bruins to the power play for a 5th time. It's going to be interference against Jake McCabe. So the interference call against McCabe as Geeky bumped Robertson. McCabe shoving away one of the Bruins. That was Lauko, who was slowed down before he got the pass away. And that draws this penalty. We'll be right back with the Bruins. The power play for the 5th time. Boston to their 5th power play as we go along this game. They lead 4-1. Jeremy Swayman just had his shutout broken, but he stopped 27 of 28. Bruins get their first unit back out there, or actually their second unit, which has functioned more like the de facto first unit. And keep an eye on Jake DeBrusk. He will not have a chance at a natural hat trick anymore, but he can still get a hat trick. Leaf wins the face-off, and he'll skate up for the ice. Going 2-on-2, Marner with Kemp. He'll hold. Marner. He looks to go to Kemp's direction. Can't do so, and Coyle will skate back up the other direction up the ice. Coyle waits. 2 feet on the line, legal entry. Coyle from the far corner, pass it backwards. Missed the feed over to Marchand, just bounced off a stick. Swayman will play this one out up front for McAvoy. This second unit has functioned like a de facto second pairing. And onto the ice, on the penalty kill are Dewar, Holmberg, Lundgren, and Riley. Moving around as DeBrusk looking for the hat trick. Behind the net. This bounced off the cage. Edmondson gets this right through, and now Holmberg will move in one-on-one with McAvoy. Pontus Holmberg trying to work his way around. Good defense by McAvoy to poke this one loose. On for Marchand to send this one up. Marchand to the right. Geeky holding at the point. Left side this goes. Back across. And good skate in there by Lundgren to block that pass. Holmberg, his short unit is not looking for queers. They're looking for goals. A protect. And this goes on to Swayman. He'll hold on. Or at least play this one out. I thought he was going to hold on to it for the most part because one Leaf was in tight. They get their first unit back onto the ice. And this has been the de facto second unit for the Bruins whenever there's a power play. Pasternak gets in, trying to drive his way inside. Edmondson was in on him, but Pasternak gets it across over to Heinen, who is shoved away by Nyes. Maroon saves it back over to Pasternak at the far half wall. Pasternak on his backhand, moving up front. A quick shot. Several bodies fall down like bowling pins all over the ice. Far corner. Leafs take this one back. Here's Benoit. Nyes will go over to the bench, and Benoit will just shoot this right on Swayman. Running out the rest of this power play, so the Bruins are 2 for 5 on the man bench. They don't need another goal, as they've done most of the work for the most part, unless the Leafs pull off a miracle. Boquist inside. Frederick taken down by Labushkin on several pushing and shoving sequences. Jake McKay picks this one up. Cycles his through the far side of the wall. Rushing to this first was Kemp. He'll take this one back. Matthews out there. Mixing and matching on the lines is Sheldon Keefe. More bodies fall down like bowling pins as this goes now behind the net. Kemp and Matthews now, with Lindholm in on him. Right point, now opposite point. Riley will hold the zone. Now back inside, several pokes, several swipes. Bruins secure it, and they get this one out. Foot race for the puck. This could be a break. Beecher runs out of room. Was trying to shoot this one off, but the defender right in front of him closed off the lane very well. The Leafs will take this back with 10:15 to go in the third period. Moving back the other direction. This was sent in from behind the red line. No icing has found a way to Swayman. Bertuzzi on him. He'll cover for a face-off to his left with 10:08 to go. So last we checked on the Nuggets and the Lakers, well, it was a Laker lead in this at halftime. Denver is pulling away in the third quarter. Nuggets lead 32-18. Nuggets with 32-18 push in the third quarter. Just remember, the Nuggets have won 8 straight games against the Lakers. Now it's a 10-point game with D'Angelo Russell with a three-pointer. Anthony Davis blocking the layup on Jamal Murray. But there's an offensive rebound on the other side. ESPN has you covered for that game. Matt Nyes on the faceoff. He wins it. Some help backwards. Here's Joe Edmondson's long shot. It went wide. Jumping to this is Marchand. Marchand back his went around. Halfway mark of the third period. And there might have been a hold somewhere we play onwards. Tavares gets forced out on this puck. It's at center ice, located by Boston, gets driven up forward. DeBrusk, driven to the wall by Tavares. Samson now playing this out over to Lundgren. Lundgren up for Tavares. This takes a bounce off his stick. McAvoy back with this puck. Charlie McAvoy moves around. To the half wall, this is secured. Bad giveaway there by the Bruins. John Tavares was in on this puck. Twisting and turning was Benoit with McAvoy right on him. McAvoy up forward. He'll just send this over to the Toronto zone as both teams make changes. Back the other way, here's Robertson. Robertson waiting for help. He'll backhand his through. One-timer, Holmberg. And that's gobbled up by Swayman. And Jacob Blanco gets tossed around by Simon Benoit, 9:13 to go in the third period. And some Bruins legends waving to the crowd. I'll be right back in just a moment. TD Garden is loud. One of the loudest fan bases in the NHL. Same thing can be said for Scotiabank Arena, the home arena of the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're back underway here in Boston, a city with nearly 400 years of history. 9:13 to go in the third period. Bruins lead 4-1. 2 goals from Jake DeBrusk and a primary assist. Both of DeBrusk goals have came on the power play and nearly had one shorthanded. Tavares wins the faceoff. This goes backwards for Riley. Almost misplayed it, but holds it in just enough. Giving away to McAvoy. On the outer direction, as Marchand will just flip this one down. He's looking for Coyle. Coyle's the first to it. Riley on his tail. Liljegren gives him a bump. Puck loose at the far corner. Both teams battle for this. Bruins emerge with it. Around, is spun around. McAvoy going back. Bruins still have more time. 8:45 left in the period. Forward for DeBrusk. And here comes Brad Marchand around Riley. Marchand moves around. Bump by Matthews. This allows Liljegren to pick this one up and onto the far wall as one of the Bruins missed it. Mitch Marner holding it. Backwards this goes for Liljegren. Up front Marner. At the far side near the Leafs bench. He and Liljegren playing some more catch. Back this goes to Riley from Kampf, who is fresh from the bench as both teams make line changes. Connor Dewar takes it across for the near line. Jeremy Swayman places one out, held in by McCabe. Backhands this one over to the net as this one went wide. Kampf was there. This takes a bounce off a skate. Several pushing and shoving between Reeves and Carlos. They both battle for this puck between both sides. Still loose at the half wall. Bruins clear this one out. It's a foot race. David Pastrnak and Jake McCabe. Pastrnak bumps away McCabe and gets bumped into the wall in retrospect by Benoit. Hiding it on him, but it's taken away by Dewar. And the Leafs securing it. 7:40 to go. Now taking a hold of by Dewar as he sends this one in. This might have been sent from behind the red line. It was. Griswold gets the first to it. And the Leafs have iced it. Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark have held the net firm. Ullmark with 927 save percentage through the last 2 seasons. Ullmark 927, Swayman 918, 241 GAA. Ullmark is 220. And don't forget about last year's Vezina winning season for Ullmark. He led the league in wins. One of the most dominant seasons in Boston Bruins history, perhaps the most dominant, at least in a regular season. But unfortunately, it didn't mean anything because of that first round flameout. 3-1 series lead, all gone to waste. Up forward, the Leafs send this one in. Griswick the first to it, and it's sent it from beyond the red line, so it's not an icing. Bruins have it as Boquist saying this one out. Chasing after is Liljegren. He'll backhand this one aside over to Holmberg. Pontus Holmberg moves his one for center. Holmberg inside. Holmberg's shot didn't make his way through. Went off of someone. Maroon picks it up. Trying to hold this one in is Yarncroke. Yarncroke gets shoved away. The Bruins pick this one up at their own near corner. McAvoy, a cross over to Griswick. Griswick sends this one out with 6:55 to go. And this may be icing. And no, it's not. I thought it was going to be. I may be mistaken on that. But now for the far side is Domi. Moving this one up for the ice. Right circle, down for the ice. After this is Domi on his own rebound. Back to the point. Riley, the long shot. Stopped by Swayman off his right pad. Hits 49-47 Toronto. At the 6:33 mark remaining in regulation. Of course, playoffs are when the physicality is turned up by several notches. As a long shot as Riley tried to locate the deflection, it was there for Tyler Bertuzzi. He was tied up by Brandon Carlo. Up for the middle, he tried to secure this, and he falls down and sees his one reach Swayman. By no means was this a bad shot, but Bertuzzi is doing it all he could to deflect that one inside. Off this faceoff, it's a tie-up. Bruins secure it. This went off Domi. Bertuzzi trying to secure this one in for the Leafs, but out this goes for Boston. Chasing after the puck is DeBrusk. Still looking for the hat trick. Picked up by Marchand. He is haunted the Leafs, but he does a bad giveaway, and now on the other way is this Bertuzzi. On the other direction, smothered down. Bruins can't clear. It's Matthews holding it over the right side. Give and go for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi, turnaround shot. Trying to deflect up front was Domi. 6 minutes to go here in the third period. Leafs need free. Riley on the opposite side for Lyubushkin. Lyubushkin twisting and turning around over to Matthews. Bertuzzi there trying to keep. Lyubushkin tried to jump on it. Marchand got there first and gets it out. He allows for a line change for the Bruins with 5:48 to go in the third period. Riley will start things up. Still looking for options as every lane is closed off. McCabe backhanding this one over to the near side. And now up this goes. We're collecting at the near corner is McAvoy. Spun out down for the ice. Benoit will grab this one down. Pastrnak gaining ground. Benoit finding McCabe just in time. All sorts of Bruins on the pressure. It feels like there's an extra man on the ice whenever there are several Bruins in on the Leafs. Feels like 6-on-5. Now down for the ice. The Leafs get this one over. And good keep by Marner. But this might be offside, it seems, or the puck was play of a high stick. They're going to say the puck was play of a high stick. Shots 33-23, Toronto. But Swayman stopped 32 of them. Johnny Beecher, Brandon Carlo, and Jake DeBrusk with the goals for the Bruins. David Kemp has the only tally for the Leafs. We'll be right back with the conclusion of regulation here on the Stanley Cup playoffs on Spaces and Twitch. Happy chatter along the bench for Jake DeBrusk and company as we're set to resume action. And who would have thought that it would be David Kampf of all people scoring the lone goal for the Leafs? I know William Nylander's absence is going to be felt, but it shouldn't be hit this hard. So off this tie-up, emerging for the face-off is Toronto. Morgan Rielly inside. When will Ilya Samsonov be pulled if such were the case? 5 minutes to go. Ryan Reed's inside. And no deflection from Connor Dewar. This Ryan scored the only goal for Toronto. Now it's here in the third period. Who knows if it's too little too late for them to do anything. Another high stick. We'll get another face-off of 4:48. Max Domi on the bench. His father Ty used to play hockey for Toronto. So remember that he got into a scuffle with Brad Marchand before the opening face-off was dropped. And maybe a precursor of what's to come. Ty Domi, 35-15 penalty minutes. That's the third most all-time. He has won goals, won 41 assists for 245 points. In 1020 games played, Lloyd DeBrusk is another first-generation NHLer. Jake DeBrusk is a second-generation player. We get a delay of game penalty here for a puck over the glass against Brandon Carlo. It did not go anyone. And nope, not go off anyone. Did not take a bounce off of a Leafs player. And curved its way down and out of the ice. Goes over the glass just enough. DeBrusk is currently an analyst on Hockey Night in Canada under Sportsnet feed. And in his NHL career, 24 goals, 17 points, and 17 assists, 41 points. He lived in 61 penalty minutes. The reason why I'm throwing this out there, well, because he is the father of Jake DeBrusk, who is becoming a high-end role player, or has become a high-end role player for the Leafs. Father and son moment. And I think dad must be proud. Stingy penalty kill for the Bruins. Here comes Brad Marchand. He's going up more time as he just sends this right behind the crease of Samsonov. Leafs under third power play will third time be the charm. At this point, it feels like both teams are playing for pride here. One more so than the other. As the Leafs get another queer as the Bruins get another queer as the Leafs were trying to march in at the attacking zone, trying to get another goal. Samsonov way out of his crease. Heinen almost poked it away. Rielly with 3:54 left in the third. He'll drop it back over to Matthews. Matthews moving it up through the ice. Around this goes, and on the entry, this is Marner. Tavares getting shoved by Peak. And down goes Calle Jarnkrok as he gets hit hard, viciously by this Bruins PK. Tavares on the entry, looking for a lane to shoot or pass it to. Nothing there. Close stop by Peak. Batted backcourts where Rielly grabs a hold of it. Sends it over to Tavares. At the near corner, trying to find someone to pass to. Out in front. Bertuzzi can't deflect it home, but just saved him by Rielly. Samsonov now to the bench. 6-on-4. Shot down low. Bruins cleared this one out. Leafs over the empty net. They just saved this one in. Bruins trying to clear this one out. They do so. Bertuzzi on the opposite side finds Jarnkrok, the open man. 16 on the power play before we get to 6-on-5. Matthews skates this one in. He bats it to himself with help from Bertuzzi. Around this goes. Cycled over. Right point. Holding it is Edmondson. Joe Edmondson find the open Timothy Liljegren at the left circle. We're over to 6-on-5. Long shot for Jake McCabe. Rebound in front. Swept away several times. Bruins trying to seal this one off an empty netter. They ice it. Unless they win the foot race. Battle for it. It's waved off. Getting it there first was Brad Marchand, but McCabe 6 away from him. Bertuzzi. He'll move it over to Nick Robertson. Robertson right in front of Bertuzzi, and Robertson will take this one down. Through the lane. McAvoy 6 away over to Lindholm. The top shutdown pairing for the Bruins is out there. Lindholm and McAvoy. Holmberg sends it over to the right side. No entry there. Holmberg is closed off several times. Bruins pick this up, and they seal it off. Trent Frederick, most likely sealing this one through for the Bruins. But crazier things have happened with 2 minutes left. 2:08 to go. 5-1 is the lead for Boston, but this may have virtually sealed this one up for the Bruins. David Pastrnak was closed off several times, but Frederick locates his puck, banks it off the net camera, And so, the trend of first game overtimes cast on spaces will end. Whether it be between me or my good friend John Ott, it will end here tonight. 2022 was Rangers Penguins. That went to triple overtime. Last year, Stars and Wild, that went to double overtime. So third time is the charm. We will get no overtime here on the first day of the playoffs. As the Leafs send us in with less than 2 minutes to go. Both teams fighting for this puck along for the near wall. So tomorrow will be an interesting day at the playoff scheduling, because we have several key games between one another. Most likely the NHL game that I'm targeting is Avalanche and Jets, game 1. That being at Winnipeg. The whiteout is going to be ferocious. One of the most passionate fan bases. Though the arena is one of the smallest, holding a capacity of 15,000. I feel that there may be some arena talks that could be in the works in Winnipeg if they were to stay at the area. Ticket sales have went down for the Jets, so there is the dire urgency of needing to get somewhere for the Jets if they were to land an arena deal. David Kampf gets to the bench for one last time. Final minute of this game. So the Bruins are at their own zone. So tomorrow to start off the games, we'll kick off with the Lightning and the Panthers at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Capitals and Rangers at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Those games over Amerant Bank Arena and Madison Square Garden. Avalanche and Jets at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Predators and Canucks, 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific. So those are the games on the playoff docket. Rarely do we see games lasting that in so long that they get regarded as some of the longest games in NHL history. We had that exact case 2 years ago between the Rangers and Penguins. That year in 2022 was the only game to go more than one overtime. One last chance by Domi was blocked away by Peak. Tries to tie iron shot that Swayman stopped. And the Bruins cleared down one last time. The towels wave here. Or at least we get an icing here. The Bruins going back to their defensive zone for one last time, with the Leafs trying to get one last goal for pride. The latter two games at Canada Ice Center and Rogers Arena. So I have one last face-off here before we run this one out. And the final score, regardless, is going to be 5-1. One last face-off. 2 seconds of one last block. And that does it. The Bruins take the opening game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. 35 saves for Jeremy Swayman and a valiant effort for him. And all around, as we look at their final statistics. So it's Johnny Beecher, Brandon Carlo, and Jake DeBrusk twice. With the Bruins scoring 4 unanswered to open the scoring, DeBrusk ends with a 3-point night, 2 power play goals, a primary assist. He is your player of the game, or the man of the match, if you're going in soccer terms. Trent Frederick has the only other goal for the Bruins. That came on the empty netter. They played dirty water here in Boston, and an eventual goalie celebration between Swayman and Ullmark. David Kampf at the only marker for Toronto. Connor Dewar and Ryan Reeves the assists. As we wrap this one up from TD Garden. 50-50 in hits between the Leafs and Bruins. Shots are 36-24 for the Leafs, as the Bruins with the majority of the great chances. And now we get our goalie celebration between Swayman and Ullmark. So he's pumping up the crowd. Big hugs. Big hugs for everyone around. That's going to do it from Boston. I'm Alec Nava saying so long. And good night, everyone.